Here it's chaos. Rocky, you went the distance. You went the 15 rounds. How do you feel?
All right, fella.
What are you thinking about when that buzzer sounds for that line? What do you think about when the 15th round when you're coming out?
Rocky.
Hello humans, welcome to the M Word, the Manx Sports podcast, brought to you by Martin. That's me.
And Matt.
That's him. Hi Matt.
Martin.
Intro clip. No, let's come on to that. Let's thank Billboards, our sponsor. Digital advertising around the Isle of Man. If you want to get your brand out there, whether it's your boxing club or your painting business or your marketing business, they're the guys to go and chat to. They're really good to us. And here's the wife coming in as well to hello. Yeah, but that's all right. All right, okay, I'll give you a ring when we're done. Anyway. All right, bye. Just crack on, it's fine. That's the wife going out now. So yeah, go and visit billboards.im and they can tell you where my wife is.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, great. So intro clip, Rocky.
Yeah.
Obviously, who wouldn't know that? Obviously, in honour of our guest today, Danny and Peter. Thanks for coming down, father son.
No problem.
Maybe just to get to know you guys first before we dig into sort of backgrounds and the sport. So just pick one or the other. So we'll go with the father first. Mayweather or Pacquiao?
Pacquiao on his day, I think. I think Mayweather's had a bit of an easy ride sometimes.
Right. Defense or offense boxing?
Offensive for me.
Defense.
Clash. Heavyweight, lightweight?
Lightweights.
Yeah, lightweights.
Ali or Tyson?
Ali every day.
Tyson.
Oh, going to end up in a fight in here. Eubank or Ben?
Eubank, technically.
Yeah, Eubank.
Yeah, Eubank was class, wasn't he? Yeah. Uppercut or haymaker?
Oh, it's got to be uppercut.
Uppercut.
And then the final one, the favourite Rocky film?
First one.
Yeah, I'll have to be the first one.
What about the one with the Russian before?
I'm gonna.
Yeah, he's not even watched them. We should kick him out of the room.
He got daft after that, didn't he?
Yeah, we should kick out of the room. So yeah, that's that done. Oh, thanks. Great. So thanks for joining us. So let's start with with you, Peter, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you a come over Manx or Manx is the Hills?
Born in Liverpool, but I think I'm Manx now.
Right. When did you come over here?
When I was a baby, actually.
All right. Okay.
2 or 3, I think.
Folks bring you over, I assume.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. Mum's Irish.
Okay.
So
What brought them here?
Sorry.
What brought them to the island?
My mum was working here. My mum was working in the hotel industry.
Okay.
As in the hotel industry from Dublin, and my mum and dad met here. Dad's Manx.
Right.
And then we just came here. They went to Liverpool. I was born in Liverpool. They went back to Dublin for a year or so, then settled over here.
Still got quite a strong Scouse accent. Bear in mind, you've been here fairly strong. That from the folks, I assume, just picked that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
No, it's good. We like Scouse. We like Scouse. So schooling then, obviously here. Whereabouts
Yes.
were you schooling on the island?
Ballacameen, Fairfield. Went through Ballacameen.
Right, so Douglas
High
boy.
School, yeah.
Right, okay. And your first interaction with sport, what age was that?
I was 10.
Right.
Went to the boxing club when I was 10.
Right.
I was couldn't box till you were 12 then.
Right.
So I was in and out when I was 10, 11, and then
What took you to boxing?
I just had nothing to do. I was always in trouble, mate.
Right.
I was in trouble with not on the right side of the law.
So that was go and burn some energy off over here type of thing.
Just one of the lads at school one day said, "No, I'm going boxing tonight." So I've heard about people going down, so I went down with them and just loved it when I got down there.
Right.
Because not a lot. It's different now with kids, Xbox games and things going on. There wasn't that when we were kids. There wasn't a lot to do.
Yeah.
So boxing was a great outlet for me. Brilliant. Just loved it.
And what gave that love initially? What can you put your finger on?
Interaction with other people and just the challenge.
Right.
I was very small as a kid. You say only small now. I was very small as a kid. I was always a battle for me sometimes at school.
Okay.
And I thought, that boxing just, I thought, well, this is great, this stuff. You can learn to defend yourself and get involved. And the people that went with me were great people.
So I assume, obviously, now when you first go to a boxing gym at a 10-year-old, it's probably a lot different to back then, is it?
Yeah, totally different.
So what was it like back then?
It was a little bit rough and ready then.
Right.
It was every man for himself, really.
Right.
The good boxers we got looked after, and the sort of us running around just trying to. Well, we learned more off them, watching them spar and train and how they applied themselves than we actually did off the coaches.
Right.
And no disrespect to the coaches them days, but they weren't as educated the coaches are in these days. Your courses and that there over there. They just to be fair, they opened the gym, helped you out, and they were there all the time. And they were good. I mean, Joe Daw was brilliant for us. He was excellent, Joe. And you know, you looked after the kids there, and we become a really good little bit of a family down there. And some stayed and some didn't.
But I presume for you to stick around, you wanted to learn the sport. If there's no one there kind of telling you what to do,
It was, and obviously the better you got, and the prize was boxing at the Lido. That was the prize. Everyone wanted to box at the Lido. Fantastic. It used to be packed out.
Oh right, okay. I didn't know they used to do boxing there.
Oh, you'd fill it out.
Right.
And that was your prize. And we used to go and watch it before we actually competed there. And you'd see what they were like backstage, and on the other side, the families going. Everyone was talking about it all week. The boxing at the Lido, you couldn't get in.
Right.
It was absolutely chocker. 2,000 or 3,000 people would get in there.
Was that just local-based fighters, or at that stage because it was popular? I guess
very popular.
holiday place.
Quite a big team at the time. Say 13, 14 regular local boxers, and they boxed it'd be most of Liverpool then, because it was the northwest counties at the time, and the ferries were quite regular.
Right.
So it'd be a massive occasion. People were talking about it a month before it happened, and talking about it months after it happened, and to go there to be part of it, to go there just starting off as a kid. Looking at, I was in the change rooms. I used to, the Gilmans, George Gilman. George, he's a bit of a hero of mine. George, he'd fight everybody. He's an Irishman,
right?
And he's trained like a lunatic. I used to watch him train. I think that's unbelievable. That how can somebody do that? Go for a run, then go on the bag, and then go. I thought that's brilliant. I used to watch him and used to look up to him. And then when he used to box, he'd have the place in uproar.
Right.
He'd never ever in an easy fight. I used to love being, I was in the change room when he went in and come back, and he used to come out battered and bruised and all that. And I think that's brilliant, that, and the people cheering from that, just seeing the adulation he used to get. I think that's, I'd like some of that.
That's what you're inspired to do.
That's what brought me on a little bit, yeah.
And during those ages of kind of, I guess, 13, 14, 15, do you fight like in rings, or is it all just training at that stage, building up at that, back then, when we were talking earlier about schoolboys, but you would have schoolboy fights?
Well, there was plenty of sparring then.
Right.
Like I said, it wasn't as structured as it is now.
Right.
Even some coaches and gyms won't spar lads until they're ready, and I agree with that, to be fair. You can't just throw them in, because you get some good lad potentially who could be a potential champion for you, and you'd lose him because he'd spar and get whacked or hurt or something by not be getting looked after. Right. But then it wasn't like that. Or you go in against him, and you be against big lads, against little lads, and last man standing and all that. And it happened, and we did a lot of the weaker, say, but maybe some better ones got weeded out, and maybe the coaching wasn't the best then. But yeah, and then it was just, I thought this was great. And you spar regular. You spar 2-3 times a week.
And would it be typically, appreciate people grow at different ages, but your age would be your age
bracket? It would be an age group, yeah. You wouldn't box anybody, yeah.
Yeah.
And you box like that anyway. You'd never box anybody. The rules are you could never box anybody 12 months older than you.
Oh, right, okay.
That's the rules.
Right.
There's 2-3 things in boxing, and it's always been the same: age, weight, experience. But within the same age, same weight, and the same experience.
Right, okay.
Like a brand new boxer walking in the gym couldn't box somebody who had 25 fights and won them all. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, right, okay.
And the coaches, it's up to the coaches to put that into perspective.
And do you remember your first time in the ring fighting?
Oh, I was terrified. Yeah,
really?
Absolutely bottled.
Where was that?
It was at the Lido.
Right.
Yeah,
what age were you?
I was 12.
Right, wow.
11.
So in front, I used the word warm-up fight, but the earlier fights, I assume the place is still packed.
Yeah. Well, I was like first on, I think.
Right.
I was one of the young schoolboys there, and I remember the whole day I couldn't eat properly. I need energy. I'm not fit enough. You'll question yourself about this, and when you get in there, and the crowd's there, you think, "Whoa, what have I let myself in for here?" Head
guards, I assume.
No,
really,
they weren't compulsory then.
Wow.
My first trophy, wait for it, is the 1979-1980 season.
Right.
So it was 1980,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
81 and end of 80, and that was my first trophy. It says on 1979-1980 season.
Right.
But
so I'm interested to know then, at that age, say at 12,
yeah.
Obviously later in boxing it goes in, you end up in weight categories.
Yeah.
At that age, can you tell where somebody's category they're going to move into? Purely by the look of the size of the child, I guess.
Now you can. Now with a coach's eye, I can.
Right.
But then you wouldn't. You wouldn't
they're
know.
Just all 12.
It's different now because everyone has the same different building body mechanisms and how they grow and that there. And you'll see someone's going to be a small lightweight or someone's going to fill out. Saying that, we've had lads who come in, who've been little chubby kids coming in, and 2 or 3 years later, he's the 6'2",
right?
Probably not much different weight than them.
Right.
So it does change, especially now. I see it now drastically.
Yeah.
Our boxes change.
And do that first, you mentioned, dwell on your first loss, was it?
Obviously
that didn't put you
no,
a dammer on things.
You self-analyse, don't you, yourself? And even then at a younger age, I thought, I don't know what to do wrong. I ran out of steam.
Right.
I just completely ran out of steam.
What were the fight lengths back then?
3 2-minute rounds. Well, for me, it was 3 1-minute rounds or 3 1.5s.
Right.
3 1-minute rounds, and I had nothing left in the second round.
Right.
I couldn't go any further. When Joe said to me, you did too much. I just wouldn't stop punching, throwing punches. And I couldn't get my breath back, so then you start thinking, right, you sort of analyse yourself, and then now I know I've got to do settle down a little bit and
And how did that progress then through up to
It was
sort of
good, to be
teenage
fair. I
years?
lost about 4 or 5 on the row when I first started.
Right.
And it just gives you that little bit of a bite. I thought, no, I'll get on when I got my first win. I got my first win in Liverpool, funny enough. And there was no mobile phones at the time. And I ran across the road to ring my mum to tell her I won. I nearly got knocked over. I had my shorts on and my bandages still on. I ran across the road to ring my mum. It's a place called the Coconut Grove in Tunbrook in Liverpool. My first win.
So what have you been then? 12 was around 12. I presume you found
12
fairly
yeah.
regularly, is it?
Yeah, well, it wasn't over here because, I mean, I don't know how they worked at the clubs then. We finance a lot of things over here, make sure things are in place. So we make sure lads get 2 or 3 bouts.
No, right.
When, you know, it wasn't as busy as it was then as it is now. But we done all right, to be fair. We got away quite often.
Right.
Got a few in.
And back then, was there any funding or all self-funding?
No, it's all self-funding in the
right.
gym.
Right.
And to be fair, the coaches put their hands in their own pockets to get us away in it.
Yeah, right. Was there many doing it back in those days?
It was a good crowd, yeah.
Right.
The gym was always busy.
Right.
The gym was always busy. I can never remember it not being busy.
Right.
Because you had to wait for a place on the bag. And if you were a little kid like me, you were last in the queue.
Oh, right,
So you had
okay.
to wait.
Is that how it worked, was it?
Yeah, that's how it worked.
Right.
First in, first served.
So then working through those sort of teenage years up to 16, continuing to fight locally. And,
Yeah.
Right.
And then I joined the army at 16.
Oh, right, okay.
Boxed the army, boxed international for the army.
Oh, right, okay.
Done well
Talk
for
us
the
through that a little bit then.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It's just a totally different level. Won the army title. And
What made you go in the army?
I was going nowhere.
Right.
And I knew that. It was the 80s. I don't know if you remember the 80s. I won't dwell on your age, but there was nothing. The work was really, really bad. It was, you remember the Boys in the Black stuff on the telly and all that. It was that bad. There was no work at all. I'd left school. And then I thought, you know, I liked the idea. I was in the Army Cadets for a bit and I thought, I like the idea of this.
Yeah, right.
You know,
School, did you?
well, I got kicked out. I was asked to leave school. So, yeah, well, I did. And then I thought, you know, I can't. And I worked, to be fair, since I was forced when I left school, I've always worked. Like I said, my mum was still in the hotel business and I worked in the Villiers for 12 months. And I joined the army as a 16-year-old.
Right.
It was called a boy soldier at the time.
Right.
So I'd done a 12-month induction instead of a 6-week induction in the army. I was there for 12 months.
Right.
And I got into boxing straight away there. And it was a bit of an easy route once you see how good you are.
Did the army kind of, was the, because I'd assume even boxing from 12 to 15, it's fairly disciplined. Was there a thought process there as well? Going into the army was
yeah, you have regimental boxing, which I found it quite easy because the level was quite low. So I was boxing at a decent level before I joined. And I found that quite easy. So I won the regimental title straight away. And then they capped it. So once you had 4 or 5 bouts for your regiment, you couldn't box anymore. Right. So I went to the Army Championships, went down to Berlin, won the Army Championships in Berlin.
Oh, right,
in 85.
So who are you fighting at that point? Is it
into regiments? Yeah. So when you go to the Army Championships, you'll box with the regiments. Right. You know, I was the first Irish Rangers to win it for over 15 years. Right. When I won that, got a nice little the trophy actually for the Army title is about that big, about 4 inches big. Right. And that's probably the most respected trophy you get. And then I got selected to represent the army, and I went to Aldershot, and I was there for, I think, just into 2 years. I left the army then. I fell out with it. I just lost the bite for the army. But the army boxing team was there for 6 months in Aldershot. Right. Okay. It's unbelievable the way you train. You train like professionals. What you do, you're better than a professional. Right. Because you looked after food wise, all your nutrition, your plan is done for you every day. You don't do nothing. Just turn up and train. Obviously, it's difficult. Yeah. You train 3 times a day, and then on a Tuesday and Thursday, you used to spar at nights. Everything was when the videos just came out. You got videoed sparring, so you do a video analysis on the Wednesday, and then you have your. It was fantastic.
What weight were you fighting at there?
I was lightweight.
Okay,
60 kilos.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's 9 stone.
Right, okay.
There you go.
I might struggle at that weight.
Then I went up to 9 stone and 7. 60, light welter. I boxed as a professional, as a lightweight, then as a light welter.
Okay. So when you left you mentioned there, you left the army, just not had enough, was it? Or
I'd done my term. You'd signed for 3, 6 or 9 years at the time. Right. So I signed for 3 years. I'd done 3 years, and I went on what's called open engagement because I was sort of still enjoying the army and that there. So I signed a year's open engagement, which means if you want to get out, you've got to give a year's notice. So I've done an extra 2 years. So I've done 5 years altogether. Right. Okay. So on the 5th year, end up I think January 88. July the 15th, 1988, I got out. Right. My birthday. Right.
And was there a plan when you got out?
No. The plan was just to party for a couple of months.
Right.
But I turned pro then. I got offered a professional contract and I thought, I want to have a go at it.
And how did that come about?
I was boxing in London at the time. And a fella I used to box with, Kevin Toomey was my gym partner. And his dad was a professional coach, manager. And he went to watch us. We boxed in London and he came to, what do you think about, that's why I'm leaving soon. Right. So he offered me to sign a contract with him up in Hull. Right, okay. So I left the army, went to Hull to live.
Right, okay.
unless we're.
And before we get into the boxing side of that, would you have that pro contract at that early stage? Is that I need to work to fund it as much as to box?
Well, I didn't realise then at the time. It was just, I'm going to be a pro. I'm going to do everything. So everything's going to be great because you don't know, do you?
Yeah.
And I just left the army. When you think about when I left the army, I was actually about 2 days. When I was out, I was actually 2 days away from signing back up again because I didn't know what to do. I went to Hull to live, a big city, got lost in the light a little bit. I thought, you've got to sign on here, you've got no work, how do you sign on? Because in the army, everything was done for you.
Yeah, right.
If there's one office, you go to what's called the family office, and they'll send you to another office, and everything's done for you. You go to, I said, I've left the army, all right, what do you leave the army for? I said, well, I've done my time, right, fill this form in, go around the road, fill another form in, go down the road and fill this form in. I thought, you know what, I come, and what do I get? And you get a couple of quid, £75 a week I was getting.
Yeah.
And then obviously the box, I'd done all right first, and my second pro fight, I broke my hand. I was out the game for like 7-8 weeks. Couldn't train, couldn't do nothing.
And if you don't mind me asking, back then, were you getting those fights? Would you get paid much for those fights?
It was the first fight I got. I ended up with £160 in my pocket because my manager looked after me, to be fair, when we first got there. Stayed at his house for a couple of weeks, then we stayed in the B&B, a place called Summer Gangs Road in Hull. And the fellow looked after us was absolutely fantastic chap. And my first fight was £600-700 I got. Then by the time I had to pay the chap that drove us down there some money for petrol. The corner man got £50. And then my manager got 20%. So £160 I got.
Right.
So just a little bit more than I got in the dole. That was it.
So you had a few fights then?
Yeah, I had 17 altogether. 16, sorry, altogether.
Right. And are they typically up in the northwest region?
Yeah. Well, I went down to London.
Northeast, sorry.
Yeah, I went down to Birmingham a couple of times. I ended up going, and I went up to Scotland a few times. You end up becoming without knowing it a journeyman, because to explain to you what it is, you'll have a prospect who'll turn professional, who's been an ABA champion or really good amateur, and they're going to get looked after, and they'll box the likes of me who turned pro and was good to turn over as a pro, and then you find your way. You can make good money as a journeyman. Journeymen can box every week if they want. They'll probably get an average of £1,000, and that's not a bad wage if you're going to box every week, or a little bit more if you get a shot on television. You'll get 20% of the television cut, so you can walk away. I got some good money up in Scotland when I boxed in a couple of good ones.
Right.
And but you'll get a phone call 2 or 3 days before.
Head up here.
And you just got to take it.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to win, but you just got to, and that's what, and I ended up slipping into that category. Right. And I got really peed off at the end. And I thought, what, I'm sick of this.
I was going to say, was there part of you that was like wanting to break out of that? And
there was, and there was some time that I boxed a fellow called Peter Crook once, and that's Carl Crook's brother. Carl Crook was a British and European champion, and I got a phone call off Mick Toomey for me. I was in good shape anyway. He said, you've got to fight the Norfolk Gardens Hotel in Bradford. Never forget it. It was he phoned me Tuesday night. He said, how are you? How's your shape? I said, I'm good, Nick. Yeah, what's your weight? He said, my weight's all right. I said, a little bit heavy, about 9.5 stone. He said, I've got a fight for you on. He said, £1,000. He said, you'll get £1,000. He said, the lad making a comeback, Peter Crook. I said, I'll take it. I was in great shape. I thought, and I got videoed as well. I thought, I'll take this. And I went down. And I thought, you know what? I'm not letting him have this. I'm not going to get stuck into this one. And I stopped him in the last round.
Right.
I still got paid, but he wasn't happy about it.
Oh, right.
They were happy. At least they wasn't. He said,
So was it an unwritten rule then? That
not really. No,
right.
No, that'd be wrong
they
to
just
say.
expect
It would be wrong
you
to
roll.
say that, and,
No.
and I think now, and that'd be wrong to say, and I wouldn't say that anyway. And it's not like that. It's just that and now and again you'll see the underdog win. You'll see it more and more often now. Think, well, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Right.
And you say, well, what was supposed to happen?
Yeah, right.
You've got two competitors there. Maybe one wants it a little bit more than the other.
Right.
And I remember speaking to Peter at the end of it all, and I spoke to him on Facebook since, and he always said I ended his career because that was his comeback. Well, that was my only claim to fame.
Right.
But I thought, I'm not having this. I'm going to have a go with this one. Yeah. And I stopped him in the last round of the cut.
And you mentioned 18 fights then?
16.
Over what period of time is that?
I finished, the probably last pro fight was 2001, I think.
Right. So a long period of time then?
Yeah, it was on and off, and it was getting a little bit. And
is that between working then, the on and off?
Yeah. Well, then I come back to the Isle of Man, you see.
Right.
And then the phone would go, say, can you get here? Then you got to think, right, I've got to pay to get there.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? And that was it. And I boxed Eamon McGee. He's world champion. Boxed Ricky Hatton, didn't he?
Yeah.
Give Ricky Hatton this guy. I boxed him on his first debut.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'm actually in his book.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he stopped me in the last round. He said there was only 5. I thought when he stopped me, the bell went straight after it. I thought, I was nearly there. Yeah. But he put it in the book as well. Yeah, it was tough. That was a tough one.
Right.
But again, it was a phone call. Can you box on the Saturday? I thought,
right.
I'll take that. Couple of quid involved. I thought, I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
So that's pretty much how you had your fights planned? Is that you
Yeah.
knew you might not have something in the book, but literally you get a call.
Yeah,
2
it
days,
started
that's
off.
you.
It didn't start off like that way, but then I sort of slipped into that, and that's what the journey does. And there's a chap on Facebook now, and he's a decent pro, and he's doing really, really well. I'm not mentioning his name, in case he said, listen, I can't do this anymore. I can't get sponsors. I can't sell tickets. I'm struggling to sell the allocated ticket loads. I'm just going to go on the road. It's called going on the road.
Right.
So he's just going to box every week. He'll get $1,000 or something or much, and that's what he'll do.
Right.
It's hard to see something, but then again, these are the lads that will shock somebody one day.
Yeah.
They'll get their television, because they'll get their television shot. They'll have a prospect come out and think, this lad's just turned pro. He's won the ABAs. He's boxing the Olympic Games. He's fantastic, and he boxes Joe Bloggs. And next week, I'm going to give him a rough ride here.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that shouldn't have happened. And that's how it happens.
So is that kind of an aspiring thing of a journeyman, is to get that
Yeah, it
opportunity?
is, yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
a bit corny, but like the Rocky film.
It
type
is,
of thing.
and you also got your journeyman out there. I mean, the chap Daniel boxed, the first one, Chris Jenkins, a lovely fella, brilliant. Now he's on 86, 87 pro fights now, isn't he?
Wow.
He's going to clock up, and I tell you what, he's a hard working, good pro. He trains hard, and he's won a couple of titles, hasn't he? He's won a couple of titles.
Slipped into that journeyman.
He slipped into journeyman.
He said it was just easy getting paid.
Right.
Money, so he just went into it. So.
Right.
Yeah, and he's good, and you look at him train, you think he puts a lot into this, and he deserves a little bit better, and hopefully he'll get a bit of a reward. And he's had a couple of television shots, and you get a couple of quid for them.
Right.
You get a Sky show, and you'll get like a mandatory fight for somebody, and someone will pull out, and then the promoters will be panicking and hitting the phones. Oh, have you got a lightweight available? Have you got anyone around the country? And they'll pay extra dough for that, and they'll come up, and then you'll get your television shot. And that's when the journeyman who's in shape, if he keeps in shape and keeps good, and he turns up for that, that's when it's not going to be an easy ride for the prospect.
Well, on that shape thing, so it's something that kind of you always look at, or I always see as not a massive follower of boxing generally, although I know a little bit about it, but you'll see, like, and I use Ricky Hatton example, he'd often balloon up between fights.
Yeah.
I mean, would he do that as an early pro in his career, or would he always be in shape later in career? He knows he's picking his fights, so he can just sort of.
I think he was
be
earmarked
lazy.
before he turned over, so he was well behaved.
Right.
He wasn't a good disciplinarian,
Right.
and he'll be the first to admit that.
Right.
It was later on in his career more when he would
Right.
blow up. But
Yeah.
his early career wouldn't.
No,
Right,
he was
yeah, 'cause
good.
you need to stay fit in case
Yeah.
that call
Because
comes.
he's just trying to make it.
Yeah, right.
Whereas
And
I think where he made it, he'd start ballooning up a bit.
Right.
And when you're just breaking into it, you don't want to make mistakes.
Right.
You don't want the promoter to say, well, I'm not taking him again. Look at that. He was 9 stone last time. He's
Yeah,
coming in at 10 stone.
Yeah.
They won't have that. It's a really, really rough, cutthroat business, the pro game.
Right.
I don't like it.
Right.
Even though I'm registered as a pro trainer now, I think, it's a lot of pitfalls there, for especially young lads that turn pro early.
Right.
I think sometimes they cut the teeth a little bit. Boxers are senior, then turn over.
So you mentioned sort of the boxing career then, come back to the Isle of Man. What brought you back here? Why did you decide to come back here?
The kids, their wife was pregnant, and we just...
So did you meet her across?
No, I've been in the Raymond Super Kids.
Oh, right, okay,
Yeah.
right. So had she done travelling around
Yeah,
when you've
she-
been in the army and bits?
Yeah. Well,
right.
I met her when I was in the army.
Right.
But then just having a family at night, she didn't like Hull. Hull wasn't... This is not disrespectful to Hull, but at the time there was something like an 89% unemployment rate in Hull, and it was really not... It was black and white, the place. It wasn't good. There wasn't a lot about there. When I did get a bit of work, I was supposed to start on the Monday, and I broke my hand on the Friday boxing.
Oh, right.
So there's nothing happening at all. So she left, and I followed her. I think I stayed an extra 6 months on and off, and then come back. And that's when I found it really difficult to box. Again, the Isle of Man wasn't equipped for that, for sportsmen of a professional level.
Yeah, right.
You've got
Had there
to-
been before that many boxers gone pro from the Isle of Man?
No.
Right.
No, that can I think of now. It was tough then, because you, like you said, you've got to train, motivate yourself, and then get yourself over there and box.
Yeah,
Whatever level you're going to box at.
right.
I said things are different now.
Obviously, you got one of your kids here. You've got there's a few of these reprobates around, is there?
Oh, I've got 2 kids.
Two.
2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a little granddaughter, which is keeping me on my toes.
Oh, right, okay. And is your older brother though, or sister, or what's
Sister.
the right? Okay.
Yeah.
Older or younger?
Older.
Right, okay. So we come to the Isle of Man, working on the Isle of Man. I assume just what were you doing when you came back to them?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, decorating.
That's what you still do to this day.
There's
decorating.
let's say, and there's plenty of work about,
Yeah,
so it was
yeah.
hard to say, well, would you go over and there's not a lot of work over there at the time. It's flipped now a little bit. There's plenty over there now.
And presume going to the gym when you're back again. We're talking about the 90s. You're back going to the gym, regularly training.
Yeah, I was always I've always kept fit.
Yeah.
I've always kept myself in good shape. One
Yeah.
thing the managers would always say about me, I've never let them down with the weight or fitness levels.
Right.
I've never ever gone in there and not give it what I can. I've never turned up overweight. I've always and people say that there's some good pros out there, and I've got a good reputation. And say, well, he's never let us down. He's always turned up. He's always been on weight, and you're not getting easy ride with him. And I thought that'll do me. I'm very happy with that. There, I didn't win any world titles, but you know,
what gives you that discipline? Just the way you are.
I think it's army as well. The army trainer, I was PT instructor in the army, so I know what it's like to put that application in. And what you get out of it.
Yeah, okay. And when that career came, when you decided to end it, what was the trigger in that?
I think the Aim McGee fight, believe it or not, it was mental because we boxed at the Point Depot. It was Aim McGee's debut, and it was when Cornelius Parr boxed what's the name, world title. Catch me out here now.
Where was it?
Middleweight, Dublin, the Point Depot. It was.
She'll be on the undercard, I assume.
I was on the undercard, yeah. It was his first. I was his first
Was
fight.
McGee a good prospect at that time?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was all talked about. And when we boxed and finished, I got 2 broken ribs, and I was swollen up there, and I was just left in the venue, and the buses went and all that, and there was nowhere for it to go. I remember there was a chap got weighed in with me from Kenya, a little featherweight, and he didn't have his international clearance, so he just. Oh, you can't box, and off he went. No money, nothing at all. I remember seeing him at the airport the next day. He slept in the airport that night. I thought, how was treated like that? Yeah. How do you get treated like that? And I know, you'll know who the promoter was. I'm not going to mention it because I thought that's disgraceful. That I was left. There was a couple of other boxers that were left as well. Now I've got family who live in Dublin, so I remember having my money in my pocket, a broken rib, and a black eye walk along the Dock Road. We weren't living far from there. I thought, is this what it's all about? Is this it?
Yeah,
And I thought. And I was losing a bit of interest anyway.
What age would you have been at this stage?
20, what were they? 23, 24, 23
right,
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought, so I didn't got out of the game, but I was always helping out in the gym down there, and the gym was struggling a little bit when Joe was taking it, and I thought I'd give him a hand, and then he asked me would I take the gym off him.
All right, okay.
Would I take it off him because Joe was getting on a little bit, and I did, so that's how it started.
Start from
there,
right,
yeah.
Okay.
And I still enjoyed it. And I thought so. And then when you do your first course, your first level 1 course, you think, I don't need to do a course. I know everything about boxing. Who's telling me what to do? But it's an eye opener.
Right.
It's a basic course, level 1. I thought that's great. I really enjoyed that.
Do you think seeing that and seeing, say, a young fighter at 18, 19, do you think he'd benefit from taking that course even at that age?
100%. I would say to all these now, take a level 1, get a level 1. You've done your level 1. Danny's done his level 1.
Right.
My daughter's done a level 2. But it's just the insight of it, the technical abilities, on how you deliver things to them out there. But when I done, I thought, I really enjoyed that. I'll go and do another one, and that's how I got in there, got in the system, and then started coaching.
And all that training you have to do away, I assume, travel away.
Yeah. It's all ABA organised, so it'll come up on the website. Level 1 course run next month. Apply for it. Get in, off you go and do your course. It's 2 weekends. You'll go on a Friday. You'll register on Saturday morning. Do the course Saturday. Do the course Sunday. You'll go away for a week or 2 weeks. Come back again the Saturday. You'll do a third part of the course, and your assessment and exam will be on the Sunday.
Right.
Sunday.
Okay. And is it often ex-boxers doing that?
Mostly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's people who don't, but and again, not knocking anybody. There's some people who haven't boxed who turn out to be very good coaches.
Yeah, well, you see that with football
Absolutely,
managers,
yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
The same. They've never kicked a ball in their life.
And you see that. And boxing's exactly the same. Although I don't know how people, I'm not an advocate for or against, if I was in a corner and I was getting told what to do in the corner by someone who'd never boxed before, I'd have a little bit of doubt in the back of my mind, especially in that game. It's a hurting game.
Well,
If someone's been there who's been next world champion, you'd be like, listen to him, you'd be intent, so it'd be a little bit different.
So on that, so the story I heard with Tyson's last fight, his trainer, he asked for his second fight, was it against Wilder? Yeah. It was a guy who'd not, I think it was someone he knew, but hadn't trained before.
I think it was someone who trained with, I can't remember who it was. There was a lot of talk about that.
He's got rid of him now, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah. But it worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
It worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
It done what?
So do you remember your dad in the gym? You mean, is that some of your first memories?
I used to just go down with him. Was it in Peel?
Yeah.
New Horizon Club in Peel. I used to just go down with him and just run around hitting the bags as a kid, get on everyone's nerves, and then that's how I sort of started, I think. But yeah.
And you obviously enjoyed that. And did you start then at that age, 10, 11 kind of?
I was more into football. I was playing football.
Was that a disappointment to your dad?
Well, there was a few times you'd come down and drag me from the football and take me to the gym.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed the football a bit more. I think it's just because all my mates were playing football at the time.
Right, yeah.
And obviously then I got my team.
So your Peel area then, you were living at this stage, were you?
No, that's where that gym was it?
Oh, right, okay.
Where he used to train.
Right.
The old gym down there, and then obviously we were down by the Castlemona.
Okay.
It's probably about the same size as Ray, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The gym.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, I just started down there and then just got into it then.
Who did you play football for?
As a kid, Pulrose, St Mary's.
Right. Whereabouts? As in on the pitch? No.
Centre mid.
Oh, right, okay, right.
Just literally just run around.
All right, so an engine on you then?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you'd just be doing a bit of football and a bit of the boxing?
Yeah, it's because it was like the School of Excellence at that time, so I was in like the School of Excellence and stuff, and that was like running on the Friday when I was supposed to be down the boxing club.
Okay, right.
So if I'd have a fight coming up, sometimes I'd sneak down to the football train instead of going to the gym.
Right, and then obviously at that age, that we talked earlier there about boxing at that age, what, maybe to go back to you, Peter, that what would be different from a fight today for a 12-year-old than it would have been 25 years ago? Are they technically more aware now?
I think more. I think the coaching's come on leaps and bounds in the UK and everywhere really. The way you're educated, and we'll be more careful now. We're putting kids in with who they're in. I mean, then it was
and it's all head guarded now.
Yeah, and there's all head guard now. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Actually, talking about taking them back off again, but I don't know. I think the kids will stay on and the females will stay on.
And the gloves, because again, boxers, because you can use different glove sizes. Yeah. At that age, is it all standardised?
No, there was 8 ounce for us. I actually boxed a professional in a 6 ounce glove.
Right. So that's the weight of the glove.
That's the weight of the glove. Yeah, much smaller, tiny. Now,
which means more damage, I assume.
I'd say absolutely. Now they're 8 ounce and 10 ounce.
Right. So you fight one or the other basically in pro.
It's weight, isn't it?
It's weight. Yeah. If and in the amateurs, if you anything under middleweight, anything under light middleweight will be 10 ounce. Anything above light middleweight will be 12 ounce.
Oh right, okay, right. Yeah. And what about at kids' age then?
They're the same. It's all 10 ounce now, and then when they get to a senior, or 64 kilos or above, whatever age group you're at, they'll be 12 ounce.
Right, okay. And were you fighting in front of crowds, or were you just training in your sort of teenage years?
Yeah, no, my first fight, I think I was 10 or 11. 11 was
11, yeah.
11, yeah.
And what memories do you have of that?
It was the only thing I remember about it was Wayne Rooney's uncle's gym, Kevin Rooney.
Oh, right, okay.
And I boxed him from there. And what I can remember was it was horrible because that's when people could smoke and that. And it was in the Hilton, it was just smoke covered. So, no, I didn't enjoy that.
Were you nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine as a 11, 12-year-old going. And I appreciate the Lido days, I imagine it's a lot just different, I could be wrong, than 30 years later. Was the crowds there of...
Yeah, it was busy. You get like 250 in there, I think.
Right.
In the Hilton.
250. Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
But I never used to like fighting at home.
Right, okay.
I used to like fighting away.
Right. Like more pressure at home.
It just didn't feel real when you fight at home for some reason.
A training bout or something.
Yeah, it just didn't feel real. Whereas if you go away, you're going away, and it just I enjoyed it more getting away and fighting people in their backyard. So.
And on the training side of things, that's something you've quite happily, you like training, doing the sparring and all those.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
right.
Always training. I've always had him on my ass. So
I take it he sets high standards, I assume.
Yeah, since I was a kid. So.
And did it bother? Because again, you might hear of parents say not wanting their kids in a sport that it can cause damage. The reality is, did that bother you?
Well, you're always aware of it.
Just try and teach the good habits.
But that's what I'm trying to say now. If it's always going to be there, it's not going to be there. It's up to us now as coaches to make the sport safer. Yeah. And if it's coaching, teach them how to defend themselves properly, and that's probably the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
And if you can see they're not going to do it, then you've got to be big enough as a coach to say, well, I don't think it's for you, mate. And, but how do you tell a kid who wants to go and be world champion that it's not good enough for him?
Yeah. We see it with sort of refs now. My observation would be they stop fighting earlier.
They stop it a lot
kids,
earlier now. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're really putting the pressure now a little bit.
Yeah. So through your teenage years, then continuing to fight.
Yeah, boxing since I was 11, constantly. And
do you have that again through those teenage? Do you have a record, or did you just kind of?
Yeah, but as an amateur, as a kid, you just literally want to fight all the time.
Right.
You literally just try and get away and fight as much as you can, just get as much experience as possible. So, I think as an amateur, I had 90 fights. I think.
Wow. Right. Okay. And did you find at school then, when you're going through school, because you do box and people are think they, you often go for the tough lad. We'll try and start on you because you're the boxer.
Yeah, you do get a little bit, but it's
Most
one of them.
Right.
That's what boxing teaches, isn't it? Discipline and stuff. So
Right.
you just got to sort of,
Try and ignore
you're
them.
doing it for the right reasons, aren't you? It's
Yeah. No, absolutely, but it
Yeah.
doesn't stop some dickhead.
not,
Right?
exactly. But
Yeah.
you're always going to get them, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, we'll come on to what level of weight you box at now, but what you box at now? We'll come into more detail.
Light middle.
Right. So
should,
that is.
Yeah, should be down to welterweight, but I'm terrible with weight.
Oh right. Okay.
Terrible.
So what's light middleweight? weight?
So 70 kilos,
Oh, right,
70,
okay.
71.
That's the thing that always shocked me when I watch boxing and you'd see people like Eubank, we were talking about earlier, or Ben fighting middleweight, and you'd think they were massive lads, and then they'd be like 10 stone 11,
Yeah,
they'd be like,
it's
lighter than me.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. And when you see them as well, physically see them, you think, well,
Yeah.
not that big is he?
I saw Mayweather when we were in Vegas watching the fight we were talking about earlier. He was wandering around the casinos and saw me. Obviously, he's just tiny, isn't he?
It isn't small, yeah.
Tiny.
But it's just because you watch them on the big telly,
Yeah,
all the time,
yeah.
you think that they're big, don't you?
Yeah, stick him next to Fury or something. They look,
Yeah.
they look tiny
They're
then.
monsters, aren't they?
Yeah. So then at 16, 17, you finished school, did you? What was the plans
Yeah.
after that?
I went to college for a bit
Right.
to do plumbing, but at that time I was trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Youth Games.
Right.
So I was getting a bit stressed out with college and that, so I just quit the college and just concentrated on the boxing
Right.
for the Commonwealth Youth Games. So
What year and where was that?
that was 2008, yeah,
In
Pune.
Delhi, Pune, in
Pune.
India.
Right. Okay.
That was a great experience.
Right.
But like I say, my weight messed it up for me a bit.
Right. Go on, talk about that.
Well, 'cause I was supposed to be in the 64 kilo category,
Okay.
but we got there and it was a bit of a struggle, wasn't it? A bit of a panic. So I was
To
running
strip
around the
the weight.
track in sweatsuit in Pune in India.
It was hot as well, so...
Oh, it's
I
horrible.
thought you get the runs out there. That soon get the weight off.
yeah.
So doing all that, just trying to make the weight, and then I got to the weigh into the scales, and we just thought, oh, we'll just go up.
Okay. Can you do that on that kind
You
of?
can, yeah, at that level, yeah.
Yeah. So we just thought, we decided, oh, we'll just go up.
You've got to be before the first round, though. You've got to
Yeah,
Yeah,
fix your weight there.
before you go in, yeah. So we just made that decision.
So what should you what weight category? And use the word category. Right? Let's keep it kilos. What kilo weight category should have you been in?
64 kilos,
Right.
and I went in 69s.
Right. Okay.
They're just a lot bigger.
I'd say
Yeah,
in
I
fact,
Yeah.
releasing just one class up, that makes a
it's a
significant
hell of a
difference.
massive-
Yeah.
Because like every weight you go in, they're always coming down.
Yeah.
So you've got to put it, so they'll be coming down from.
So talk because obviously there's before fights again. You see fighters weighing in again and I'm not really an expert, but well, I'm definitely not. You see them weighing in, and the next day they look completely different shape
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're dehydrated,
You just dry
etc.
out, yeah.
So kind of typical amount of weight would someone put on? So you weighed him, and I think now is it in boxing you're only allowed to put an X amount back on
That's
after.
title fight.
Depending what,
Right,
depending what governed body is on as
Yeah.
well.
Right,
They're not
okay.
allowed £10.
You'll get away
Right.
the next
5
morning.
kilos.
That's title fights.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Across all divisions and everything.
Yeah, different organisations like the WC. I think they have a mandatory second weigh in.
Oh, okay.
in
So
the
if you
morning.
weigh in 60 kilos on the next day, you can't be any more than 65 the next day.
Right. I always remember I watched I think it was a documentary about they were interviewing Amir Khan and not Amir Khan, Prince Nassim, and the fight his first fight, whether it was his last fight as well that he lost, he was called in at short notice on that fight and was overweight, and he said the night before or the day of the weigh-in he was shrink wrapped in a sweat room trying to get it all off, could hardly stand when he went to get the weigh-in. Met the weight, but then obviously for the fight he just said I was so drained from the so I was presuming to find balance every time
I've
into
done
a
it.
fight.
I've done it many a times. Left at last minute.
Right.
I'd say is that not potentially cause detriment to
Yeah,
you? Because you
100%.
do
Oh,
yeah.
such a
Strip back,
wall,
innit?
and then
Yeah.
suddenly
Yeah.
pound it on.
Yeah,
That must
yeah.
put, especially you're doing it the day before the event. I don't know.
Yeah.
From looking, I say outside looking in, that's quite a.
But not as an
Dangerous.
amateur. In the championships, it'd be like, so we'd fly over, and the weigh-in would be like in the afternoon. Then you'd be fighting a couple of hours.
Right. Okay.
There's hardly no time to
And
rehydrate.
then
Oh,
you're
right.
dried out, and then you've got to get on the scales and try and refuel,
Yeah. Okay.
and then you're fighting.
And because I presume ultimately you're trying to push yourself, say, down categories because
Yeah.
you've basically got a better opportunity, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
because you're bigger and stronger than the.
But then you've gone in because you've depleted. If you do it wrong,
Yeah,
you don't
right.
do it right,
Yeah.
which is what I did quite a bit.
So that.
Struggled.
So sorry, you were talking about the youth Commonwealth then in Delhi.
Yeah, yes, in Pune.
Pune, sorry.
Yeah, so then
It
I
was
had
in
to,
India mode, sorry.
had to go up a weight and
Right.
then come up against a big coloured lad. So
Right.
I was like, okay, just got to get your head stuck in.
Right.
But yeah, people don't think there's much difference, but there's so much difference. They're just so much bigger.
Yeah.
Just the inside stuff and things, and obviously I'm still trying to dry out, so I made that decision on that day to go up. So you don't want to go feeding yourself because you'll.
Yeah.
So still a little bit depleted and stuff, but it is what it is. But
yeah,
it's experience. I know all that now to pass on down to the kids and not coming up.
And the rounds and how many rounds and how long at Youth Commonwealth level?
That was 4-3s or 4-2s. 4-2s.
4-2.
Right.
4-2s. Yeah.
And is that head guarded or not?
Yes.
Right. Because it's considered amateur, is it?
Yeah, but there's no head guards now. The amateurs with the seniors.
Oh right.
The seniors, no head guards anymore.
What age were you when you went there?
17, just 18th. He was in his 18th year.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
17 I was. Yeah.
So could you be fighting in theory a 27-year-old?
No, because
No,
it's junior
youths.
games.
Oh
It's the
right. Okay.
youths, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the youths. So but yeah, like you say, it's experience in it. So
Yeah. So what happened after? What was next in the boxing career after when you came back from there?
just come back, just boxing again.
So you boxing here more away, I assume. Then
Yeah,
'Cause
just
I
most
don't really
weekends.
see boxing matches promoted here. I could be wrong, but I just
Yeah, we try to put 2 or 3 shows on a year, but it's
Right.
been a bit
Yeah,
all over
yeah.
the place at the moment with this virus. So we had one actually due in the Villa Marina. Our show was due to be on in April.
Do you draw on that as a club or as the Isle of Man Federation?
No, it's a club.
Right.
Club, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bring everyone over, don't you? Like a region or a squad or.
We've done well the last couple of years. We brought teams across. We bring teams over. We put a full show on. We put down as a select, like a Wales select. It won't be Wales international team. It'll be different clubs from Wales. Because it's very hard to match club for club. It's not like a football team. There's not 11 v 11 that all fit. So you might have a load of lightweights and no heavyweights and no middleweights. Right. And so when we match now, when I do the matchmaking, I'll matchmake a region. I'll go to the North West region and say, right, I'm offering you as a regional match to the Isle of Man on such and such a date. There's my list.
Okay.
And I'll give them a list and they'll match
in.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how they work it.
So then those early sort of 18, 19, you're travelling away a lot.
Yeah, just
boxing.
going away, fighting, box cups.
How many did you say you had? 90, 80, 90 fights?
90 fights.
Right,
Yeah.
wow, right.
Yeah, just trying to get away as much as possible.
Right. Any of them fights that stick out? Are they good or bad?
Yeah,
or both?
I've fought quite a few decent lads, to be honest.
Right.
Callum Smith, boxed Callum Smith.
Oh, right, okay.
That was in the ABAs in Liverpool.
So someone like that way who's gone on to be fairly good.
Yeah.
If you fight, can you see it when you're fighting someone like that? You're like, yeah, they are quality.
Yeah. Well, he was number 1
Right.
in Great Britain at the time. So when I fought him, it was in the championships in Liverpool. So it was a bit like, but in the championships, you can just come up against anyone.
Oh, right. Pick out of a hat type of thing, is
It's
it?
just like your
it's a
weight
draw.
category.
Oh,
It's
right.
like regions, so that
Right.
each region fights each other.
Did you know who he was at that
Oh,
stage?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
know
right,
the
okay.
circuit, so
Right. Oh, yeah.
he'd won like the multi-nations and things like that before that, so.
And do boys like that, or lads like that, are they just a different level in the sense of the movement, the technique, or everything? Or
Just
It's
all
club
round.
level, and then when you
Yeah.
get to that, like I said to you before, when they get to that level, they're picked up. They're on the England setup, which EB set up, and they're working with top coaches from around the country. So what they do in the gym, with England, they'll take back to their gym to perform for the gym,
right.
for the clubs, and then obviously
yeah.
they're going to. And the more international fights you have, obviously they're boxing better quality, but their quality's going to pick up every time.
Right.
They're not just boxing club boxers.
Yeah.
Boxing
Right.
internationals. So when they come to boxing, the national championships, they've got that experience of international
Yeah.
competition and
Yeah,
boxing some of the best boxers in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And during that time there, while you're boxing, is this with her hope of picking up a contract, or are you just doing this as for a hobby sport
Yeah,
sort
I
of
think
side to it?
every-
Getting your head smashed in
You
for
are.
all of it.
You are.
I think
Or smashing other people's head in.
I think every amateur boxer that boxes, I think they want to go on to be professional, don't they? I think that's what they want to push on for. But now I've been pro now. I'd love to just go back in the amateur game
Right.
and just literally just fight most weekends and just go away and.
What distinguishes you between amateur and pro then? Where's that line drawn to say I'm one or the other? So we had this conversation with Tom Ganny about golf, didn't we? About what's the difference between the
Well, it's
two?
just levels, isn't it? It's I think it's just all about levels because there's a lot of decent amateurs out there now that could probably beat most pros and things. I think it's just, but the pros it's just money. It's all about money.
It's money, ticket sales, and
That's it.
that's what I said.
As soon as you ring the promoter, or you speak to your promoter, he gets in touch with you. It's like straight away. The first thing they ask is how many tickets did you sell.
How many?
tickets can you sell?
Oh, right.
It's the
Okay.
first thing they ask you.
Right.
You don't ask what you've done. Well, you obviously what
Yeah,
you've
obviously
gone
know,
them for a
'cause
reason in
you
the first
spoke,
place.
yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
But then they just want to know how many tickets you can sell.
Right. I'm still trying to understand the distinction though, because could I not call myself a pro tomorrow?
Well, the
Stops
pro
me.
game, the
Well, apart from my guns.
the differentiate between pros and amateurs. Amateurs only do 3 rounds,
Okay.
3 threes maximum. Pros can do 8, 10, 12 rounds.
Right.
Full time, no tops on, no head guards on,
Right.
smaller gloves, and
Right.
they get paid at the end of it.
Right.
Sometimes.
And you just make that call of I want to be one or the other.
Yeah, you got to
ready,
loop.
yeah.
You got. You can't.
Yeah,
Just,
no,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah. Well, I say that. Why could I not just start tomorrow and say I
you've
appreciate
got
I get my head kicked in?
Yeah, you've got to sit in front of a
Well, I
board.
Oh, right, okay.
If you hadn't,
So you have to elect to be a pro.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you go and sit in front of a board and they'll ask you questions.
Oh,
You'll have
right.
to see your background. You'll have
Oh,
to give them, you have a medical card as an amateur, which has all your
Oh,
flights
right,
on it. So
okay.
you've got to give them that, and you've got to go through, have a look at you, see what you've done.
And how do you step back down? Can you step back
Yeah,
down?
you can actually
can,
do
yeah.
it. Yeah, well, I don't know if you can.
5.
Is it 5 now?
5, yeah.
It used to be 3. You can actually, cause you can have 5 pro fights and
Oh,
you go
okay.
back to amateur. But
Right. Oh, and that's been reduced now.
I don't know how it stands at the minute.
No.
I still think it is the same.
is it?
Right.
I still think so. Yeah.
So that lets people dabble their toe in and
And-
go,
and
this
people-
isn't for me.
People have done it.
Right.
People have done it now. What they do now is for the Olympics and Commonwealth Games. I don't know about the Commonwealth Games, but the Olympic
the
Games
Olympics,
especially.
They did it last one.
Pros can go in the
Pros
pro
went into the Olympics.
Olympics.
Oh, right. Okay.
Fight.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, we look at cycling, and the cycling pros can go into the
That's
Olympics,
it,
and, right?
Yeah.
Where there's other sports where it's just amateur.
Yeah.
Well, now the pros boxers can go in.
Right.
So I don't think we give it much of a level playing field if
Yeah,
Mayweather went into the
yeah,
games with it.
yeah. Very true. Yeah. So then, into your 20s, were you still boxing, or was there a point where
still boxing. Like
this was all at amateur level?
Yeah.
Right. Were you getting any money for that at that stage?
No.
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 Just for the love of.
Yeah. Probably should have turned pro a little bit earlier when I was more active. I sort of turned pro
When you say active.
like just I was
Fight-wise.
constantly fighting all the time. Then I done my knee, twisted my knee, done a cartilage in my knee, and I had time out. And then after that, that's when I turned pro.
Right.
So I wasn't really active. I should have went a bit younger, but
What age was that?
when did I turn pro? Too many punches to the head. About a year and a half ago, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
First turn.
No, a bit longer than that.
Was it?
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 years.
And don't swing for me, but is that late in life for
Yeah.
someone to turn pro?
Yeah. I'm 30 this year.
Right. What made you to decide now?
Because I just seen a lot of the lads that I'd boxed in the amateurs, some lads that I beat, some lads that I've boxed and done well against. They're going in the pros and they're making money, they're doing things. Some of them have actually won titles and
Yeah, right.
things like that. So I thought, I may as well just.
Yeah. You feel you've got the caliber to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
If they
right.
can do it and I've beat some of them or
Yeah.
done well against them, then.
Yeah. So then between sort of all through your early 20s, then you've just started that amateur career, regularly fighting.
Yeah, like
And
I said, I'd love just to go back to the amateurs though.
Right.
Just love it.
And I presume obviously working on the island and
Yeah.
doing any other sport or just boxing?
Yeah, just do quite a bit of running as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Everest and stuff.
yeah.
We'll get
I
onto that.
like to do the fells and stuff, the fell run.
Right.
So yeah, I was just always keeping active.
Right.
Just do as much as possible, really.
How do you find, you mentioned earlier about struggling with weight, do you still, and I use that in the context of a
Yeah.
few kilos, but do you still struggle with that now?
Well, now I'm not having to make weight. So like you said, with it happened before, I'd blow and then
Yeah.
but I do it last minute.
Right, okay.
Like a lot of the top pros now, they have all the nutritionalists, everything's like done for them and stuff. So you need the funding to do that. So it's just a guessing game, really.
Right. And what were you work-wise? Were you doing in your 20s?
Qualified bricklayer.
Right, okay. So doing that
Yeah.
and then
that
training
was-
in the evenings.
Yeah.
Right. So going pro, does that, I presume you still have to carry on working at this
Yeah.
point? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's just a
People
balance of...
people think straight away, you're going pro and you don't have to work and that. It's not like that at all.
Yeah, right.
Nothing like that at all.
And do you get sponsors?
Yeah.
You got
Um,
sponsors?
Yeah.
Can you give a shout out to any?
Well, I've had a bit of time out, so I've not really.
Is it something you're open to people if they're willing to
Yeah,
help?
100%. Because I want to get back into it. Like I've been doing the charity stuff and that. So, and then obviously I had a break with the boxing. Now, well, this has just happened, but just watching some old videos back and stuff. I think I want to get back in.
Yeah, right.
I'm 30 this year, so let's get a few more under the belt.
So let's touch on the charity stuff. So that's to do with Huntington's
Yeah.
disease, which is connected to your
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
A bit of background to that, if you're happy to talk about it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to your
No problem
rationale.
about that,
Yeah.
She was diagnosed about, was it 2-3 years ago?
2 years, yeah.
2 years ago. because my my mother-in-law, Lorraine's mother, she died of it.
Okay.
It was unknown at the time what she had, and she got diagnosed. I think about 5 years before she died. Obviously, what it was, and then we started looking into what it was. So then Lorraine got the test. So you don't have to get the test. It's a 50-50 chance if you got it or not. So she got the test, and she's got the gene. So there's no early onset or nothing yet at the minute. But and the progress they're making with it at the minute now because it's been out there, it's been unbelievable.
What does it do to the body?
It's a brain dysfunction.
So it's like dementia,
Parkinson's disease. That's the best way to explain it.
Picks all the worst things about possible.
Yeah, it's a two rolled into one.
Right.
So
and is there an age, or is it just?
It's just it. You can have junior Huntington's. You can have it at an early age.
Right.
The typical scenario is now. She's just turned 50. The prognosis is around about another probably 10 years. You start getting early onset,
right?
And then it could take 10, 20 years. But they're breaking ground with it now. It's one of the rare diseases that they've actually made real progress on it in the last couple of years.
Right.
It's been found. We went to a seminar a couple of years ago. A fellow called Dr. Wild, absolutely fantastic. He'd done a seminar down in London, and we went down for the weekend, and it just gives you we're getting somewhere here.
Yeah, right.
And the progress they're making is, so it's not all doom and gloom. It's
right.
It's half full.
There is no cure for it.
At the minute, there's no cure for it. But they call it the most curable disease known to man.
Right, okay.
The fact that they know what it is, but they can't actually get to the element that makes it.
And I use the word fixing that they're trying to do for it. Is that a tab, or is that like, things?
It's in brain. What it is there's two neurons in your brain that connect to each other electronically.
Yeah.
And the protein builds up on them.
Right.
And sends the wrong signal out, or doesn't send the signal out at all.
Right.
So you'll have involuntary twitches, memory loss. I think the first one's cognitive, so it'll be like arms moving, twitching, and that'll be memory loss and that there in certain things. But there's trials in progress now in their third stage. There's actual trial now. It's called the HTTRRX system. It's in its third year, and it's passed all the NRA tests. So it's now. They've injecting it now in a lumbar punch, so it goes straight to the brain.
Oh, okay.
But what the brain does, if you take it orally, the brain will destroy it before it gets to the brain.
Oh, really?
It's its own body's safety mechanism. So the cerebral fluid straight to the brain, and it works that way.
Wow.
And there've been some real positive tests with it.
Right.
So it's more of a plus than a negative.
And is that to slow it down or stop it completely?
Well, slow it and hopefully reverse it.
Right. Okay.
So it's you just have to look up on Google. And you become lost in it. You become a little bit of an internet expert sometimes.
Well,
I have over the couple
seems
years.
like you've educated yourself.
Well, that's it is. Then you're up against. So it's not all doom and gloom. I don't think. I think it's more positive than negative. There's more good things coming out of it than bad things.
And how's if you don't mind again asking your wife, stroke your mother?
Yes, bang on. There's no early onset, nothing.
No, and she's like mentally, she's positive.
Yeah. We're all good. We're everything's good.
Does it again? Maybe you don't want to answer this question. Does that change your outlook on life? Of this is a potential something coming down the road.
It does with everyone, I suppose. But I'm not like that. I'm not a deep thought thing with me. I just like to see let's get things.
Everything's good now. Yeah, right.
Not to say I haven't thought about what's going on.
No, I'm sure.
But I'm always thinking like, when are these going to make? I just had a chat with a couple of doctors when we were down there, and there's a couple of young student doctors who were working solely on neurology. And I was talking to them, they were absolutely fantastic. And I thought the way they were speaking to you and talking to you and breaking things down, I thought it won't be long before these crack the code. And they're starting to get funding now, which they weren't doing for a while. There's a lot of funding going into it, because what they reckon is, if they break the code for this, Huntington's disease, then the Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease won't be far behind, because they're all pretty much connected. So if they break the code to this, that could be the catalyst for the other two to start putting treatment in place. So it's all glass half full for me all the time.
That's good.
Yeah.
So the charity events you do for that, that's obviously the drive is to raise money, and but within that for yourself, you must, I presume, like to push your mind.
But like I said, I've had that from him, so like to do mad stuff, and just like push your body to the extreme. Like I just So 18 months ago was it, or somewhere, or maybe a year ago, it was the 24-hour of circuits.
Talk us through that hell. Since I can plank for about 40 seconds.
It was just.
I've done a bit of that.
No,
I've done the last. I
didn't do 24 hours. So.
I come back off the boat, and I've done the last 45 minutes, and I couldn't walk the next day.
Yeah, he turned up for the last bit. No, it was good. It was like the The hardest part for me was just literally just being stuck in that same room for 24 hours.
Right.
And then obviously through the night we had to have the shutters down and stuff because obviously there's houses around where we were.
Oh,
I did it up Next Level Fitness.
Right.
So the music had to be turned down and things like that. So just getting through that night, and it got to like 4 or 5, and I was like, get the shutters up.
Yeah,
Just I think so. The hardest part for me was basically just being stuck in that room for 24 hours.
And how many circuits, different things were you doing then?
So I think there was about 12 or 15 exercises. So people would come and join in for an hour. So like I wouldn't just be doing the same thing all the time. So if someone would come, I'd get them to throw a new exercise in.
Yeah.
Just keep trying to break it
Yeah,
up.
that's it.
So
I was
you're
just
not-
thinking,
Yeah.
again, you're already in that small room,
Yeah.
repeating and doing exactly
Yeah.
the same thing.
So like I just say, whoever's coming, bring an exercise with you just to try and break up a little bit. But no, it was good because like all my girlfriend and that and all their friends, they had like camp chairs and that. So they like made a night of it.
Drinking wine while you're working your ass off.
Yeah, get ordering Chinese. Hudgy was there for me,
right.
just eating the
Yeah,
Chinese. Didn't do any though.
So, go on. So how did you like cope with that throughout? Then I know you kind of said about the darkness and the monotony, should we say, of it. Did you mentally struggle at any point, or was it?
I'd say I'm quite mentally strong. I think it's one of them. For me, it's like, all right, I'm struggling here, but in the end, you've just got to think, right, I've got so many hours till it's finished, right, so we'll just keep pushing on.
Because I always think with those things as well, it's like, physically you're likely to do it. With those challenging that, it is, I find, the mental battle, really.
It's just trying to get different people just coming in. You just want different faces coming in each time. I think, just speaking to you, like different conversations. And
Is it time to do that phase where you want to be left alone now?
yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
Just wanted the music off, things like that. It was just
It's a mental battle, isn't it? It's a mental battle.
Just my eyes closed.
Yeah.
People had to like throw water on me and stuff. It was like,
Yeah, I think I read that in one of the articles you sent there. Yeah, it was close to nodding off, doing
just slowly, just
doing
like that.
side planks or something.
Someone had to put David Goggins on.
Oh right, yeah.
Goggins
He
come
saves
on,
us
and I
all.
was off.
Yeah, you're
I was
all right.
off again. Then I was on the bike. I was gone.
And then the more recent one, running up Snaefell.
Yeah, I don't like talking about that one
Do you know? Why not?
because I didn't complete it. So
So the challenge was
uh,
how many times up?
14.
Which was the equivalent to Everest.
Yeah,
Right.
150 miles. So I
Right.
got 10 in, but gonna go back in the summer and do it.
Right.
He's just got a camper now, so get the camper parked up there.
You're
I'm just gonna
gonna
sort of just go and do it off my own back though.
Right.
Not gonna make it thing. I just for my mind, I just want to go and do it and just finish it.
Right.
So I'm just gonna go and do it over the 2 days, just like literally, and just put it on my Strava and then.
So that's from beach to top of Snaefell.
Yeah, from Laxey Beach, yeah. Up.
And that first one, did you come back? I presume you ran back down, or did you get a lift back down and run back
No,
up?
no,
How's that
I
work?
ran back down. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's what people are saying to me because obviously it's just the equivalent to climbing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So coming down doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So everyone's like, "Oh, you get the tram at the bus," and I thought, "No, we just got to keep it
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So when you go, do you go
up through the valley."
Right, okay. Left or right of the valley? Sort of up Agnish or up the
Up
tram?
Agnish.
Right, okay.
Up Agnish, yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
But that was
and
closed.
you cut across the hill, across the Black Hut, is it?
You
And
go
then
up, up
Yeah.
across the bridge and that.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay, right.
Yeah, it's just the bridge just for safety reasons, really.
Yeah,
And
right.
so I've got there's other people running with me and stuff, so we just had to take the bridge.
Right.
Um,
And what was the plan to do, like, 16 hours, go sleep, do another 16?
yeah,
what was
I
the
just
plan?
wanted to try and get as much as possible. I did.
Bear in mind, it's the worst day ever.
Oh, so I did 2, and I come back. So I did the 2, and as I was coming back down, it was sunny. So I come back down, and I was getting ready to go again. Had some food. Then Hudgy rang. He said, "Oh, you might want to leave it." I said, "What do you mean? It's sunny down here." And I just been up there. It's sunny. He said, "Oh, it's like a storm up here now. It's like hailstone and that." I was like, "I've just been up there." So then we set off again, and I was like, "Oh, no, I'll just get up and get it done." And it was like a blizzard.
Right.
It was like a blizzard up there.
Was it
but I
March? Was it March? It was down April.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I didn't pick the best weather.
How many did you get done?
10.
Right.
I think it was 10. Yeah.
Over how many hours was that?
2.5 days, I think it was.
Right.
Like I say, with the weather, like the first day, I got 4 or 5 done. And I just had to literally just have a break because I was probably getting changed after every one.
All right.
Just the weather, just wet, windy.
Yeah. A few others do a few with you here and there.
Yeah, there was loads coming. Loads of people coming, turning up and doing stuff with me, which was good.
Right.
The night time wasn't nice.
Head torch job.
Head torch, yeah.
Right.
It's just the wind. I was just fed up with wind.
Right.
'Cause as soon as you got up the valley, it was like a
opened,
wind
isn't it?
tunnel.
Yeah,
It was just literally like a wind tunnel.
Yeah. Even any direction it comes from, you're going to get it.
Oh
on the way
yeah.
up.
So but yeah.
And you come up for the last 45 minutes, did you?
For that one, I was away. I was in Sheffield.
All right.
I spoke to
It
him.
always seems to go away when I'm doing these
away.
challenges.
Where'd you come up with that idea?
Where? How?
Oh, both. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I don't know. I just obviously I'd love to go and do Everest. No, but it's like I just thought I'd keep it local and
Yeah,
just sort
yeah.
of. So I was thinking of it for a while, to be honest. And just sort of put it together. At first I was just going to do it from the Black Hut.
Yeah.
Then I thought, no, I'll break it up. If we go down to the beach, get more people to come and things like that. But now, so the charity done well, and
Yeah, it's like 7-8 grand. You're right.
everyone was talking about charity and stuff and raising awareness. So that's the main thing.
Is that a local charity or a?
Huntington's is a local one, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So they try and raise money to take people away for trials,
Okay.
seminars, things like that. And I think they're struggling at the minute, so they want to try and get a doctor over here, because no one knows how to deal with it over here at the minute.
Right.
So I think they just want to try and get someone over here who's trained to actually look after the people that have got it, because they're in homes and the people don't know how to work with them or how to.
Yeah. So that's once it's on set, it's then dealing with the or educating the helpers, I guess,
it,
as well.
That's exactly what it is. It's education.
Yeah.
They're putting it in nursing homes or care homes, and they'll have outbursts. They'll have outbursts, and people don't realise what it is. I'm sure they get the same with dementia patients as well.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, it's very, very similar to.
Because there is some anger issues, I think, involved in it as well early on. Yeah. So it's like people don't obviously.
And there's a few people got it, believe it or not.
Over here,
You'd be surprised.
Right. Yeah.
You'd be surprised. So we go to meetings now and again. The gatherings, there's about 20, 25 there.
Right.
So it affects. It's the family that they affect with them, because there's some young ones who've got it, who are struggling with it.
Right.
I think there's a lad the same age as me, maybe younger than me. He's in the latter stages.
Right.
He's struggling a little bit. The family's
He's
struggling.
got it really bad, yeah.
He's got it bad, yeah. He won't go out now. He's become a recluse.
Right. Yeah,
So,
it's that knock on, isn't it? It's not just
again, the education. They've got the police stopped them a while ago
because they think they're drunk.
drunk.
The way they're
right.
acting.
Right.
They're getting
Not
pulled
the
over
police's
and
fault. They just
arrested.
see someone staggering in the street, don't they? Think.
Yeah.
So,
Have you been tested?
No.
Do you want to?
No.
Don't want to know.
No.
If you don't want to ask, what about your sister?
No, she won't.
don't think so. Don't know.
No.
Just don't want to.
Just carry on with life, innit? You just
Yeah. And it's literally just a 50-50 shot.
50-50.
50-50, two genes, 50-50.
Oh, right. Wow.
And when it stops, that's it. So
Right.
if
Neither.
it
It doesn't have to go. Yeah.
that'd be it. But if the brain didn't have it, then they wouldn't have it,
Yeah,
100%, and that would be stopped there. But like I said, with the half glass full thing, I think the progress they're making is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And I don't think they've actually got a picture of it, believe it or not, a microscopic digital picture,
Okay.
which they have
Of that build-up of protein, I think you described it.
it's a funny shape, so they can know what it is. It's hard to explain about it. They can't get to it or get this.
Yeah.
The amount of trials they've done, they've got a really successful trial going at the minute. It's so successful that Pfizer have bought it. They bought the trial.
All right.
Now they buy it. Now they're just money men. They won't buy something that's not going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone like them or buy it, then you're in business, don't you?
I think, and I could be wrong here and doing a complete disservice to. I work with a girl, Lorraine, ironically enough, and I think her mother had it. Maybe Watsons, is it? The Watsons, it's the same. Yeah. So, I mean, again, I don't really know Errol and Lee, but I know of them, and I think I recall because I think they ran the Sahara or something like that, didn't they?
But do you know
10 or 15 years ago, I think,
how
to raise
bizarre
awareness of it.
I was on their first charity night they done for Lee. It was at Summerland, and I was boxing kit and all that, and doing a bit of shadow boxing, and someone doing a bit of football, and it was, I've never heard it before. It's ironic then my wife has it. It was for, his mother had Huntington disease, she died of it. Right. So Lee's did. So that was a charity that I done from. Right. That was nearly 20 years ago. That would have been.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about your role now as boxing. Don't know. You'll correct me on the title for the Northwest. So talk about how that came about, really, and chat a bit about what you do now for that.
Well, I was helping out in the region anyway. What it is, the country's split into different regions. And the Northwest region is the biggest region in the country at the minute. It's 110 clubs. And I've been helping out on the regional coaching with the regional coach. So I'm now assistant to regional coach and have been for a couple of years now. And a couple of applications come up for England, for an England job. And I've never thought about I didn't. Oh, I know, maybe a bit too much for me, and I didn't think about going for it. So I was recommended. I didn't actually apply for the job. I was recommended. It's called regional recommendation. So I got a letter from England coach. Would you be interested in an up and coming role? There's 62 applicants going in. The applications, I think it was 14, were getting picked out of that there. A couple of interviews and a couple of assessments. I thought, well, you know, I'll have a go with this. I'll try. Went with the interview. All went down really well. Got a couple of assessments. Then I got let's say that I've been narrowed down to the last 32.
Mm.
And there's probably 12 I think we're going all together out of that. And I went to Army Barracks in up near the northwest. I think it was called northeast. Catterick, is it? Catterick Barracks. Went to Catterick Barracks and it was brilliant. The whole set was absolutely fantastic, but it was quite intense. So there was 8 coaches from the north and 8 coaches from the south, and they're going to pick out them who were getting through. I was first up, but I was glad because I didn't have to see everybody else in front of me.
Yeah.
And the hall was absolutely massive. It was an army drill hall. There's a boxing ring in the middle. It was where the under 21s were training that day. They were going to Azerbaijan for the championships, so they were in there, 32 of them, and there was 6 different stations. So you had a drill to do each station. Like on each station, there was 2 coaches with a notebook watching you.
Okay, so you'd have a boxer there and then go, you do this,
a boxer, a few boxes or a drill, and they'll tell you, like the first station for me, so I had to do a pad session, an attacking pad session with a southpaw, which was the most awkward box you can ever get, but teach him how to do orthodox. And he was a decent kid, he was a good lad, so I had him first, and they don't say nothing, the coaches don't say nothing, they say, yeah, okay, move along. But I was alright, as soon as I'd done that, I was comfortable. I went to the next station, then the third, and I had a rest station on 4. And I got to the 4th station, I seen 2 or 3 other coaches behind me. I was watching them, I thought, one was struggling. I thought, well, I'll definitely get better than him. I'll get through him. And narrows it down to 3 and 4. And I was comfortable with it, and I got to the end, I had a little bit of a chat with the head coach at the end of it all, and they had to take you down for your car, because you're on an army base, and you can't go and get your car yourself. So he said, he said, you've done really well. I said, I can't tell you how you've done. He said, but I think you've done really well there. A fellow, I boxed him actually, Army versus Navy, way back in '88. Quentin Shillingford, he's one of the bosses there, brilliant, really good. And he said, oh, you've done well there, Pete. He said, how would you work it about coming over, you know, and all that? And he's asked me a few questions, a couple of leading questions. I thought, well, I hope we'll give him the right answer here. I said, well, getting across won't be an issue, because I'm away all the time with the boxes anyway. Got in the car and that was it. He said, well, you'll let you know at the end of the month. And that's what I thought I'd done all right, but you know, there's a couple of good lads in there, and I don't know what's down south. There could be 8 good ones. You know, I'm only taking 12 altogether. And I got a letter on the Monday. I read the letter and I thought, I'm waiting for the unfortunate bit. And I just seen welcome to the team at the bottom. And I read it there, I thought, congratulations, you've come through. Just come for a final, not an assessment, an interview with us, and pick your kit up.
All right.
I went to get my kit up, and I swear to God, it was a big massive box full of tracksuits and t-shirts, and well, that was worth it all. And I got a job straight away. I went down to Salisbury Plain then to do a weekend. It's called a recreational weekend with England, with the England team.
So they're all new coaches, I assume, in that.
There was a couple of coaches. There's 3 new ones. I was one of the new ones.
Okay.
And we went there. It was like a 6 o'clock start in the morning. It was army camp. I was quite used to that. I enjoyed that. Stayed in the army barracks for the weekend. It was brilliant. Right. Really comfortable with it. I'd done the run in the morning with the boxers. I got up in the morning, went down to the track at 6 o'clock, got them warmed up, done the sprints with them, took for the breakfast. Then another coach took over and done the second phase. Then the third phase was the drills and skills. Then we all joined him for that. And that was just day 1, day 2. Then we done the only thing that is a little bit not annoying about it, you got to watch who's listening to this, is there's too many meetings. Or they just drive you crackers. You'll do a session in the morning, then you'll sit down and you have a discussion about the session, and then you'll analyse everything. But it's worth it. And obviously the more you do, the less analysis you do. You'll do probably one a day then, and you do a pre-session and then you do a post-session, and then you'll sort it. And it's brilliant.
And is that a fixed role for a certain period of time, or what's the? Well,
what it is, a year you've got 3 or 4 different. You've got like OTDs, which is Open Talent Days, which you'll have lads from different clubs coming in to try and show you their skills, so they're worthy getting on the England development first to the pathway coaches. What I'm doing now, I'll look to identify individuals who may have slipped through the net. Like, it's easy at the higher end, it's easy because you'll see the ABA champion, he's going to get in the England team. Have a look. You'll see the finalist, he'll more than likely get in the England team. Then you'll got the 2 semi-finalists round him. We'll assess 1 or 2 of them or 2 of them. So that's pretty easy. But around the chase and pack, you could have a really, really good lad who got beat in the first round by the champion. So the only person that's beat him is the champion. So he might deserve another shot. So then he'll go into the OTD. His club will apply for him. They'll say such and such got beat by the champion, can we put an application in, we'll go do them, we'll assess them, then they'll go to another assessment which is called an RAG system. There'll be 3 or 4 coaches look at them, they'll get marked on that there, and if they're successful on there, then they'll get put onto the development programme.
Right, okay.
And that's the pathway to lead up with it.
So, how many times are you away going to do these camps?
Probably 3 to 4 times a month.
Right.
Before the lockdown, I got my scenario tab and I was away every week for March and April, which I didn't mind because I'm brand new to the game and I want to get out there.
Yeah.
I want to, I work for myself, I'm my own boss, so I can fit it in.
around,
And it's mostly all the weekends anyway. Obviously, I've told England I can't do midweeks because it's costing me not a day, it's costing me 2 days getting on and off the island. And they're really, really good. I mean, my boss, Amanda Colson, she's my boss. She's brilliant, really, really good. Like I was away in Leeds in Bermontoft gym just before the lockdown. We'd done an assessment there. There was like 72 boxes there. And then she'd said, well, I was due away on the 18th. She said, but there's also an assessment day on the 19th. Can you do both? I said, it's easy for me to do both because I'm in the UK for 2 days. So I work it that way. So that's how my programme was filled in for April and March and April.
And boxers to get onto that pathway, what when they're let's say signed up, what's the process for them?
The process is they'll do training camps, 2 or 3. They'll do 2 or 3 open training camps, which is days, day there. Then they'll do a residential camp, which will be a weekend, and they'll be assessed over the weekend. Now, some might not fit the criteria, and that's when we have our coaches meetings. We'll say, how did such and such get on? And it's also what they try to do is not have you coaching your boxer. So there'll be 3 or 4 coaches with boxers on it, and they'll be with other groups. And I might say, well, he was all right, but he was late every morning, or he didn't bring his kit. So they'll get marked down for that. Now then, the next person, well, they might get dropped from the team, or they might have come as a spare just for a sparring partner. Think, well, hang on, he was very, very good. Let's give him another chance. So they'll assess him over a couple of weeks. Then there'll be a competition put in place, England versus Wales or England versus Scotland, a home nations match, and then they may get selected for that there. Okay. Then they see how they perform in that scenario against
I assume this is all happening in that amateur rank.
Oh yes, it's all amateur, it's all amateur. And that's
the idea is that is ultimately a stepping stone for someone to go at some stage or want to be professional.
Well, everyone does, but we try and talk with England hat on now. We're trying to talk about professional boxing because it's totally different. Right. Your England progression would be your GB. You box for England, you want to be for England and Scotland, Wales. Okay. You've got 4 nationals there, 4 national champions possibly vying for a place in the Olympic Games.
Oh, right, okay.
So there'll become a stage where England box Wales, Wales will box Scotland, Scotland will box England. They'll all box each other, the top will go through. Now, we'll know that. The coaches will know who the best in the country is. Right. But you've got to, and there'll be a process of a point system process or where they go to progress to GB squad, and they'll go into the GB development squad, and then they get on the podium squad. Right. There's your 2 squads. Development is trying to get there. Podium squad is actually your boxing. There'll be 3 of you on that. Right. So there's 3 potential. So what you're hoping for if you're on the podium squad is the other 2 get injured.
Yeah, right.
or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Or they lose form.
Yeah, right.
They lose form. And then they'll vie for a place in the Olympics. They'll all try and qualify, and they'll not all qualify. But you'll put 3 lightweights in or 3 middleweights in, and maybe only one, or maybe all 3 will qualify. Then you'll have a problem to.
What's the what's a qualification standard?
It's boxing world championships, European championships. You've got to get into that bracket, win a couple of worlds, come back with European medals. Right. Okay. Once you get your medals in your medal count, and there'll be a system, which is how it works at the minute. But there'll be a system. Some of them have qualified now. They've got so many points to qualify. Like I think we've got 12 qualifiers now in England. Right. So soon it's down to selectors. Down to selectors, yeah. Right. And there may be a scenario where 2 might be, and you're gonna have to say yourself, who are we going to take? Right, that's just based on selectors' call. If they're the same weight, they'll box them off. Oh, right, okay. Box them off. Wow, so it's a fair way of doing it, isn't it? It's a boxing game, isn't it? Yeah. It takes all. Right. So just to go back to the question around that role you do, will that just be, is that you do this for a year and then move on? How does your career develop in regard to then coaching and? Yeah, I'd like to push on to do more because I'm loving it, mate. It's absolutely fantastic for me. It's a brilliant job, getting involved and also learning off of the coaches. And there's more to it. There's just more to it than just coaching. When you think about the paperwork, the preparation they do, the application they put in, it's a 24-hour job sometimes. And I'd like to go down that route. Obviously, to get up to the GB setup and all that, it's a different level. I've only just started the England job, so I'm not going to be. I'm brand new at the game, so I've got a lot to learn myself. Even though I've been in the game 40 years, I've still got a lot to learn. And there's some good young coaches in the game at the minute. But hopefully they'll pick experience over you sometimes.
So when you look at, if we look at roles you have, so I suppose locally, I guess you obviously train people.
Yeah.
Are you there? Again, there's running in the gym and training 20 people. Are you specific people's trainers as well? So.
Yeah, I can do that. I do that. Well, Daniel does that as well. We like one-on-ones out there. I'm not a big fan of one-on-ones.
Right.
A bit disrespectful for them when I come to use it. But as a boxing coach, yes, for an individual, small groups out there. And like I'm again talking with England, and I'm trying to identify what we've got in our gym. Although it's only small compared to what they've got in the UK. But 2 or 3 of our boxers would not look at a place in England setup. Okay. So my job now my aim is to get them to that standard. Yeah. So the first step would be regional. So I get them to the regional. We've got 4 or 5 lads on regional. Go to regional train anyway, which I'm a part of. So I've got them in there, and again they're looking a lot better than we've got some of them. So the next step would be for them to move on to England Talent Day. And I think once they get there, not just I won't mention individuals, could be unfair. Once they get there, I think they'll grow in themselves because of the surroundings. Because they'll start thinking a bit bigger themselves. So when they come back here, they think, well, hang on, if I've got an England vest, that'll make your box a little bit better, believe it or not. I'm not just a gym boxer anymore. And it's just trying to implement that mentality in them at the minute. Get them to think bigger and what's around them.
And at the moment, you run the boxing club over here, Alaman Box. Is that the only boxing club on the Alaman, or is there more?
There's 2.
Okay.
There's 2 now. There's Vikings. New Horizon. Right. So there's one. They're only brand new though. They've just started off. They've got a couple of good lads. They'll pick up.
And do they then? Is there an Alaman Boxing Association?
Yes.
Then is there right?
Yeah,
so the clubs sit under the association.
Yeah, we sit on the association. I sit on that committee as well.
Right.
So ideally for Commonwealth Games levels and stuff like that, we'll sit as a committee. We'll put our recommendations forward. They'll come and train at one of our gyms, and then we'll assess them and see if they're eligible to go to the Commonwealth Games, and then they'll go through the process of being selected.
Yeah, right. Okay. And to go back, Danny, to your pro, you fought a guy. I've got Stevenson in my head. Is that the right name? Have I made that up completely? I might have made that up completely. You had a fight in Liverpool, didn't you? Not massive amount, maybe a year ago, was it?
Yes.
Pro fight?
Yes.
How was that?
My last one was at Dwayne Green.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like we go back to before about the journeyman. An average journeyman would literally just basically they'll just cover up and just stand and just sort of throw a few out. But I think my first 3 fights I've had people that have actually come to actually have a go.
Yeah, right.
But it keeps you on your toes, and to be honest, I wouldn't actually want to box someone who's just literally just going to stand there and cover up, because it's a waste of time really. So yeah, no, it was quite exciting, my last fight, to be honest. He was funny. His nickname's Mad Dog. So yeah, it was funny. You just hit him, and then he just like he'd do this bounce, and he'd just come charging at you. So you'd have to keep on your toes. And literally, the last 10 seconds of the last round, he headbutt me and cut my eye open.
Oh, nice. Right.
So
hence his nickname.
Mad Dog. But yeah, so watching that fight back's funny. Listening to the commentary and stuff.
Right. Where was it?
That was in Liverpool.
Sorry, the arena of
what's it
Olympia.
called?
Is it the Olympia?
Oh, the Olympia.
Right. Okay.
The Olympia.
Right.
So yeah.
And you weren't on that on points.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just to chat then about points in general, that seems to be certainly you watch boxing on TV and sometimes a bit of controversy around that.
Yeah.
Do judges then look at fights because a judge might prefer a more defensive type of game, might give points differently to someone who we talked at the start about offensive defense. Yeah. And that's why there's obviously sometimes these big gaps between as a punter you watch a fight and think, well, he hammered him, but a judge might go the other way.
You could talk all day about judges, and I've done a judges course.
I was just going to ask that question.
So I've done a judges course, and you look at it differently, and you get the armchair fan who sits there in his underpants and his remote control.
Yeah,
right?
me. Right? Well, I got jeans on, but yeah.
And he'll say, that's a disgrace, that. How's he won that? Yeah. But go back and have a look at it. Hang on, did he hit him? Now, the scenario, to score, you must hit an opponent with the knuckle part of the glove with force. Right. So when you see a boxer and they go,
all the gloves.
And he hit him 20 times there.
Yeah,
he probably didn't hit him once. Hit him on the gloves with loads of slaps. But it's always the knuckle part of the glove with force. That's a
Is that anywhere on the body though?
That's the face area,
right,
and to the torso area.
Okay.
Not include the arms and lower belt.
Oh right, so their arms are in, then that wouldn't count.
And don't forget when the professional judges are judging, and in the early boxing careers now, boxing, the judge the referee, will score the bout. So he might be able to see throwing a couple of body shots in. He's too close to the
always ran this side.
One of the judges doing it, 1, 2, 3 judges spaced around the ring. That judge might see everything, but not see the body shot that this judge might see.
Okay.
So the scores will all be a little bit different. So when they say, and I've done it, I've scored. I thought, I've got Red up here about 4-0. And so I've got them down 2-1 and
different angles sometimes.
So it's not that easy.
Right.
And there's no easy way around it. They tried that scoring system where the clean blow. Have you ever seen when you go after the Olympics a couple of years ago?
That's what we had in Puni.
In Puni, they have 2 screens, red screen, blue screen.
And it
lit
lit
up.
up.
5 judges. That's how they work. You've got 5 judges, and it's a push button system. Red, left hand, blue, right hand, and every time you see as a judge him score a blow, I'll hit red, red. Okay, what happens if you're right-handed, particularly right-handed, and your right hand's quicker than your left? Right? Now all 3 judges have got to hit that button at the same time.
Right.
For him to have a scoring blow.
Oh, right.
Out of the 5. Now out of the 5, only 3 will get recorded. Only 3 go to the signal.
Yeah, right.
So 2 might be scoring correctly, and 1 might be a little bit jittery with his left hand. So they say that. So it's debatable. Usually the right man wins all the time. And you see some robberies, and it's going to go on forever.
Yeah, you can't
biggest robberies in box, especially the pro game.
Yeah.
Now, the pro game is a little bit different in the fact of, especially now, if Matchroom have a boxer who is a golden boy, boxing on a Matchroom show, Matchroom pay for Sky TV, Matchroom pay for the judges, pay for the referee. Who's going to win the fight if it's close?
Right. Do you think that happens to you?
Yeah, 100%.
It does happen. Of course it happens. Of course it happens.
Right.
They'll say, how's that happen? And it's part of the game. You think the home boy will get it.
Right.
If it's close, the home boy will get it.
Right.
That's why they say boxing away from home box. It's different in boxing. It's like that.
You mentioned earlier when we were talking about amateur and pro and the difference, and you mentioned about ticket sales, and I felt some touch of anger. Maybe I don't know if that's the right word, but of that the driver isn't necessarily about a good boxing match. Maybe there's other drivers in there.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the best man doesn't get to the top to start off with,
right?
And it's just a little bit. You'll have some good lads out there
that can't sell tickets.
You can't sell tickets,
right?
You could have a potential world champion. You couldn't fill a phone box, and he's not going to get fights.
Right?
They won't do it.
Is that just because maybe publicity, or
maybe
is it they come from somewhere where it maybe hasn't got that financial background?
Maybe he's a quiet lad. Maybe he's a quiet lad. And he can't sell tickets, and he doesn't go. And you got to think, a professional boxer shouldn't be out in the limelight partying every night of the week. So he's not going to have a big group of friends.
Yeah,
he'll have a big group of gym friends.
Yeah.
And in the sport, and they'll say, "Oh, go and watch him. He's good." And, well, I don't know about that. I'm going out tonight. But if he's personal to you, you'll go and watch him. But it's not personal to you, you won't go watch him. So the promoter will say, "Well, sell tickets. I'm not interested in it."
Some lads that aren't actually that good.
We know a few now.
Sell like 300 tickets.
Oh right, okay. They forget the fight.
Yeah.
I know a few pros now, and I think, to be honest with you, again, no names. Some are awful, but they're selling 500-600 tickets.
Yeah.
Promoter's dream.
Yeah, right.
And they're going to get, and they'll get wins. They'll get wins.
Yeah.
He's won 5 in a row. He's great. He's not. He's crap. He sells loads of tickets.
Yeah.
It's just money.
Like you say, as a boxer, really, you want to be focused on just boxing, don't you? Not what can I bring along to the party.
That's what the pros.
But it should level out. It should level out the further you go in your career.
Yeah.
It should level out because the best will beat the best eventually, and the best usually do get to the top anyway.
Yeah.
If they stay at it, but it's got to be frustrating. Like I said, that lad in Liverpool, he really good amateur, decent pro, and he's just posted this week, "I've got to go on the road."
Right.
And that means he's going to stay in the game, but he's just going to have to, take his ambition off being a British European champion and just try and make it in the journeyman stakes as it is. And
if you had to write yourself a bio of how you fought, your type of style of boxing, etc., how would you write yours?
I'll let him answer.
No, I want you to answer it before he answers it.
Hectic.
I don't know. I've sort of come forward, counter.
Right.
I don't know. I sort of mix my style up. I think.
Right. Orthodox or.
Yeah, also I can switch as well. So
right.
I think I can.
So that's for those that don't know. But that's basically you understand that.
Yeah, you switch over. Yeah.
Yeah, right foot at the front or left foot at the front.
Yeah, just confuses them
right.
sometimes. I'd probably say I was more as counter.
Why does it confuse?
The way you've got to come in and stuff. You can't just step in, or you're going into the backhand. You've got to step out
because this hand's exposed rather than this type of thing.
Yeah, because you don't step into their backhand.
Right. Okay.
Keep out the backhand.
Right.
So
okay.
if you switch, and they've got to think, "Well, going the other way then."
Right. Okay. because they've always got to be trying stepping away from the incoming
away,
swing.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Keep away from the backhand.
Right.
Power
Can most pros switch?
No, it's
Right.
difficult. It's a real difficult skill.
Right.
It's a real difficult skill.
And are they then usually like, is it ambidextrous, is that the word?
It's how they start as amateurs. I've said this. I mean, when you first start boxing, the first thing they do, we've got a few novices in the gym now, the first thing they do is stand with the right hand forward because they're right-handed, and I'll say what hand you're right with. And what you do is, as your first level 1 coach, you'd say to a boxer, come into the gym, stand with your feet shoulder width apart, put your both hands in the air, tap whatever hand you're right with onto that leg, and take a step back with that leg. So that's your strongest hand straight away at the back. So your weakest hand will be your
front hand, your jab.
front hand.
Oh, right, okay.
And then your backhand, your power shot.
Yeah, that's how I'm left-handed.
Yeah, so you're southpaw.
Right.
But to switch over with equal amount of pressure and power on the hands is a difficult task, especially halfway through a round. It's difficult.
And there's a lot of it in the hip.
Loads, feet, all about the feet.
Right.
All about the feet. Forget about the hands. Put them in your pocket.
People think they load up and
really.
Yeah, you can box your hands down.
Right.
I say to people, the most important thing in there is your feet. Get them wrong, you'll get an early bath.
Right.
Hands up.
So go on, talk a little bit about that. Just being on the toes, being able to.
It's being ready to move in and move out of danger.
Right.
You know, it's supposed to be defensive boxers as well. They'll be on the, we call it on the back foot.
Right.
You can move on the back foot and you can throw your jab out, score on the back foot, counter on the back foot. You'll have someone chasing you constantly.
So would Mayweather be an example of that type
example.
of thing? Right. Okay.
Very, as a defensive boxer, probably one of the best.
Right.
Unbelievable. He could sit on the rope with his hands down and still not get hit.
Right.
The way he moves his body, moves his shoulder across.
Yeah, I see quite a lot of his shoulders,
slips
his
inside,
shoulder.
outside.
Right.
We'll have an aggressive style boxer like Triple G or someone who, or Pacquiao, perfect example, will be front foot boxer.
Right.
Actually made for each other, to be honest with you.
In what sense?
Well, offensive and defensive.
Right, okay.
But,
Just then a matter of knocking each other out.
Yeah, well, Mayweather's counter-punching is exceptional.
But not a generally heavy hitter, is he not
He's
considered?
Not a big hitter. He's not just wearing when he does it, it's timing.
Right.
But when you look when he knocked Ricky Hatton out, that was all about timing. That.
Yeah, right.
Just a little lean back with the left hook, spun off the left hook, and Hatton walked into it.
Right.
But you set that up for the whole fight. If you watch the fight, you set it up.
See, that's the thing I think it's interesting where I'll call myself in my underpants as an armchair watcher. That's the things I don't see is that as the fight goes on, they're learning what's going on, which you think about in doing that in that environment when you're getting your head kicked, your head hit, and to be able to that's such a massive skill. I personally think a lot of observers of boxing would just think it's just two people batting the shit out of each other when there's so much technical aspect. To be able to do that under the pressure, under the lights, and while you're trying to duck things and going, I'm seeing a space here.
You just got to open things up, try things to make
things happen.
Right.
I say make things happen,
right.
Especially the more experienced boxers. To be able to lead somebody on.
Oh right, okay.
To make them make a mistake.
Make a mistake, right.
As you see, some are a lot easier to do with than others.
Right.
Some are quite unpredictable. The ones you box who are quite novice, they're unpredictable because they don't know what they're going to do next.
Oh right, okay.
So you think, what's going to happen here?
Right.
But the ones who are really clever, you'll notice a lot of top amateurs when they get to the top level. Years ago, it was all point scoring system. The fights were boring. They'd win 1-0.
Right.
Or they were
because they just
cover up and counter and be boring.
Right.
The brand new kids who come in, they walk straight, they can't wait to batter each other 100 mile an hour.
Right.
And you try to score one of them bouts.
So
toss a coin.
So I assume now when you guys are watching boxing matches, you can see
the
stuff that us underpants people can't. Yeah.
But you know what? Funny enough, there's a lot more thinking in the game now. I watched Josh Warrington, and I think it's the pressure that man puts you under. How can you defend against that? It's undefensible.
Right.
I've
not come across him. Right.
Tap, go on, you have a look on Google. Unbelievable. World champion.
Right.
The pressure he keeps you under, you can't make a decision. It's hard to make a decision when someone's that close to you, and you move away to get a decision. He's still on top of you. I'm throwing quality shots as well, and he's probably most exciting at the minute.
He's just fit. It's just fitness.
Right.
Level of fitness is up there.
Right.
Different level.
I saw and it was one of the questions that I'll ask it now is your favourite ever fight outside of your own, obviously. What would your favourite ever fight be? Because I want to tell a story about my favourite ever fight that I've watched.
Watched?
Yeah, watched.
What's that? Live?
Wherever. TV, live, wherever.
Was Tyson Fury and Wilder.
Right.
I'll tell you why.
Go on.
I won 1,300 quid on that. I had Fury. I was bound. It was 10 because it was 6 o'clock. It was 10 to 6 in the morning, and I was getting the boat
Right.
At 6:30, I was bouncing around like a lunatic. Next door neighbour just thought there was a fight going on. And when he stopped it, I was just like, it was like a 1,300 quid I won on that. But it was exciting for the way it was.
Yeah, right.
Technically, tactically,
Tyson that good?
Everything bang on.
He does look very, although he looks a bit,
Yeah.
as an observer, not particularly the kind of thing he looks a bit, but you can see he moves away. Yeah.
When you're watching it, when I see that first round, I thought he's got everything right here. He met him in the middle.
Just
of the
don't
ring.
get caught.
He met him in the middle of the ring. He made him make mistakes. He pushed him back.
He was just not getting caught, I guess, by Wilder's.
And then when he
punch.
to be fair, I was surprised he knocked him out, but he just
he
looked strong.
I always think Wilder, again, not right,
No.
but he doesn't look particularly fit ever to me.
No, he's
Because get deep into a fight, he just looks knackered.
I think he'll struggle now.
I just don't know how he's got that far.
I don't.
Obviously with power,
that's that power,
that's it. That's all
he's
he's got.
distinctly average, and he's a very, very powerful man.
Right.
Though.
So you consider that one of the favourite fights, just from the pure technical aspects of Tyson.
And the way he got it all right. You go back for years to see some of the Hatton's fights out there,
What about you, Danny?
that one. Enjoyed that.
What about you? What stands out?
Probably Lomachenko, Luke Campbell.
Right. Okay. When was that fight? I'm not.
That was last year.
Right.
It's just because they're both technically so good.
Right.
And it was literally just brilliant. You couldn't see any mistakes from either of them.
Right.
But then obviously I liked Anthony Joshua and Klitschko.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That was exciting.
Yeah. I go back to watching a fight. Kawasaki fought a guy, Lacey.
Oh, brilliant.
Just because you talked about fitness,
and
just for 12 rounds, he looked fresher at the end of the fight than at the beginning.
He just totally schooled him. Lacey comes the next best thing, and he just absolutely schooled.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was the thing that stood out at me. Just how you're just so intense. But I wondered. You mentioned earlier about gaining points, and because he was so. I didn't know how much Kawasaki was hitting hard-wise in that fight.
It's flurries, isn't it?
Flurries. Well, I presume there has to be an element of power in there, I guess. But
Yeah.
for the sake of Lacey's face at the end of it.
He said he does a lot of slapping, Kawasaki, but I wouldn't like to slap off him, would you?
Like a lot of open hand, isn't it?
Oh, right, okay. I think I read an article on ranker.com earlier, and they were talking about I'll let you guess who so it's just voted by the public, the best ever fighter was, they put it in ranking order. And Ali won it, but there was a category for most underrated fighter, and Kawasaki won that. I think probably because although he was undefeated, wasn't he? Maybe they never got the adulation.
He didn't come into the American scene late till very late. Very late. He was quite underrated and unappreciated, I think, at times. Yeah, brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
So I want to ask you first, Annie, about mindset. So being a boxer, again, you see, take a lot of punishment. And talks about the challenges you do. Is that something that I suppose you're aware of as a boxer that you need a chunk of?
What do you mean, like so?
Just, you get knocked. I don't know how many times you got now, but you get knocked down. It's easy not to get back up, or you're taking a lot of punishment. There's that self belief that I know where his cracks are. I can, I might, during a game or a fight, you're thinking I'm behind on points here, but I know I can catch him here, and that mindset of believing that you can always win.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've been in some wars in the amateurs. Because I've boxed a lot of, like I say, with my weight and stuff. A lot of the bigger lads, always the bigger lads. So I've always had to try and put it on them. But I've don't know. Just go forward.
Right.
if you're down, you're struggling. Just go forward.
Right.
Just get your head down and go forward. I've always had that.
And do you see that in coaching people, a difference between someone who could be good and might not be?
We've got a lad now who's a perfect example. I don't want to mention his name because I like lad. He won't listen.
Right.
He'll just go route one every time, and sometimes to his detriment. Sometimes he'll do well out of it, but then it's just that mindset, and it's a great mindset, by the way. It's the work, the determination to get to the end product. But you could just do refine it a little bit, maybe a little bit more defensively. And that's what the problem with kids is these days, especially young boxers who are fit and athletic, and they want to go for the knockout. Now, knockouts are rare in amateur boxing. Knockouts are quite rare. And as a coach, I don't really like to see knockouts, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's not. I know it's about scoring points, being hit, not getting hit, evading the punches. But a lot of them want to fight. People say, "Oh, you're teaching kids how to fight." Believe you or not, kids know how to fight. Or every kid knows how to fight. It's just that some choose to and some don't do. And so you tell a kid to try and pull it back a little bit, and that's the winning formula. I think if you can refine them to do it when they have to do it in the right areas, then you've got a bit of a winning mentality when you're in a place there. But like Daniel says, and sometimes it's a good attribute if you're behind on points to keep going, because don't forget this other fella's going to feel the same as well.
Yeah.
If he thinks, I need a bit of a break here, and he's going to give me a break because he's going to lay off for a minute, hang on, he's on my chest, I can't keep him off. What I'm going to do? Maybe it's time I took a knee or look for a way out.
Yeah, right.
So it's having that drive, that mindset to keep going forward. So sometimes it's the right thing, sometimes it's the wrong thing, but I like to think we're more technical sometimes.
Yeah, okay. And then concussion in general?
Yeah, it's a big point now. We've done a lot of this. I've done a professional course 4 years ago. It was called it was a cut management course, use of adrenaline, cut management and identification in the corner from early signs of concussion to bleeding on the brain.
Right.
Really brilliant to do. Done at the professional gym, and it's this way. I think everyone should do it. Every coach should do it. Should do it somewhere. So fit in somewhere where you can tell a boxer in the corner how responsive he is or isn't.
All right.
And some kids are just like that. They'll look through you. Or some kids, do you think to yourself, if they've had a bad fight, especially in the pro game, not so much in the amateurs. And the referee's usually on the ball anyway in the amateur game. He's took a bad knock there. And as a coach, you'd say, right, he's had enough. We're not interested in the win. Let's get him out of there. Let's keep him safe first. And safety is the first priority, especially in this game here. Yeah. Pro games, you've got a lot of maverick corner men, and a few of them been done over the years. For right. You don't want a brave corner man. You certainly don't want a brave boxer you're going to get, but a brave corner man, get the boxer out. I've seen it happen all too often.
Because I also guess financial implications may cause an issue. Like if there's, someone wants to win in finance, if there's finances, someone wants to win, he's not going to say he's out. But like you say, that man's going to presumably say, let's just see if he might actually fluke it in the next round or something like that, and he can get out, sort of thing, rather than money over health and that sort of thing.
In history, it's been done. You've got the no hope of getting battered for 10 rounds, and they pull a sucker punch out of the 11th and they win the fight. Extremely rare. It does happen, extremely rare. But if someone's hanging on for dear life, and they've been beaten already in the 6th or 7th round, and this is round 10, and that corner man should be put in jail. It's disgraceful. Because I've seen it. You've seen the Americans are terrible for it. They'll sit the boxer down. There's 4 or 5. They're all screaming, "Knock him out! Do this." If the boxer says, "If I could knock him out, I'd done it in the first round." Give me some proper information to stop getting hit. Basically, so corner men need to be told. So
is that maybe like 15, 20 years ago? Again, maybe Matt and I compare it to the NFL, where there's an element of macho of I want to keep going, and you need to go and look.
You'll see it now with the rules. There's a new rule now in concussion, isn't there? Right. They've got to come off the pitch now. It's taken out of their control. Now, if the doctor says that fight's over, that fight's over. All the money in the world, all the promoters in the world won't go on. That will not happen. The doctor should be on the ball. So he's showing that he's dilated pupils. If you're talking to someone, the pupils are still dilated.
Blinking as well, they say, don't they?
Blinking, a lot of blinking. Early signs.
So if your corner man's saying, we're fine to go, that doctor can come over and say,
but the referee will usually 9 times out of 10 say, have a look at him. He's got a cut, or so the cut. They're the obvious ones. A big massive cut above your eye. Now there could be a massive cut, but it's not bleeding. If it's a world title fight and there's only 1 round left, more times they'll let it go ahead, especially if you're the champion. If you're getting beaten anyway, then it's a good time to call it off. But it's the damage you don't see. The boxer being irresponsive, not slurred vision, slurred speech, vision, his eyes are or fixed pupils dilated, not responding to the corner. You think let's get the doctor over. I'm not right. For the sake of a couple of rounds, a win and losing record. Health and safety first, I think.
And now one of our podcasts recently we were chatting to Conor Cummins about like risk and hitting what he does. Do you look at that as boxers the same? It's a calculated risk here, but I know what I'm doing. I feel I can protect myself, and therefore there's like I'm coming across the road tomorrow, I might get hit by a car. That same, you just feel like you're in a risk management.
I've never sort of thought of it that way. No,
right.
The boxer doesn't. I don't think the boxer does, because the boxer's in the boxer's body. And I've done it at that level, and he's doing it at that level now. You feel invincible. You don't. So it's up to your coaches to take a hold of that. And that's when your matchmaking comes in, and the sensible matchmaking. If you're gonna, now he's 3 fights as a professional, 3 wins, but I certainly wouldn't put him against Ricky Hatton or Mayweather, you think, well, no, because he's not ready for it.
You might have Ricky now.
He might
Run away from him. Hit once and run away.
Probably the same way anyway.
But there, for example, you wouldn't put a top class 25 undefeated professional boxer.
Yeah.
It's not. It just wouldn't happen. Or he might think, yeah, I'll be all right. He won't hurt me.
Right.
And then that's bad management.
Yeah.
People get hurt.
Yeah, I also guess if you're in the fight itself and you're more concerned about getting hit, then you're already going in with the wrong mindset already.
Worried already. So you're wasting time. Yeah.
I've seen it with lads now, and I've told him he sees it now when he warms lads up to go into championships. It's won a lot in the changing room sometimes.
Right. Okay.
And you see him but you don't want to say nothing. I was having the championships last year, and he was warming up in the championships last year. And he was going in, and he wasn't even looking at me in the pads.
Right.
Well, we'll just manage this.
We'll
just manage it. We'll get him in there. Make sure he's safe.
It must be quite hard as a coach though as well, because obviously you want the.
Of course you do, yeah.
Well, you want them to win. Outside of it, you want the overriding health of them.
That could all change in the first round.
Yeah. He catches him.
He's gone in with a switched off mindset. Sometimes I've done his pads, and I know exactly what he's like since he was a kid. So I'm doing the pads with him. I think, well, I'll stop doing pads now because it's not getting anywhere. You go in the ring, and after the first round, he'll switch on himself.
It's getting that first, but it's actually getting punched. That's it.
Oh, okay.
You're just on.
Then he'll switch on. Then you'll know you've got a response.
Right.
But it's the change rooms is a big thing. Getting that before they go out.
I saw, or I heard a news article recently. I think it was in UFC where a guy, I think it was UFC, not boxing. He came to his corner at the end of the round and was like, "You need to pull me out." And his manager wouldn't let him pull him out.
Like, no, you've got it.
Yeah, and he was like, no. Yeah, and he pulled himself out. And has been praised for it. I think because Dana White praised him. Because obviously, again, it's a macho thing where it's like throwing in an attack, but he threw in his own towel. But the corner man wouldn't, or whatever they called in UFC. Yeah,
because the corner man was like, "No, you've got this, you've got it."
Yeah. But he was getting his head kicked in apparently, quite literally. Yeah. So then, drugs in sport, is that a problem in boxing?
It's getting out. I mean, that baby Miller's just been caught again for the third time. He should be banned for life. I absolutely 100% can't stand it.
Is he a British boxer? Is he? I don't know.
He's American.
Oh right, okay.
Absolute dickhead. To be honest with you. I mean, he's done it once, got caught, let off. Done it twice, got caught. Got a bit of a 6-month suspension. He's done it again.
Right.
This is fifth time.
Is it fifth time?
Right.
Fifth time.
It's just.
What is that? Drugs to help you recover, to train quicker, train harder, or is this to bulk up, or?
It's the training drugs they use
Right.
because the drugs they take. It's different for everyone. A lightweight would probably take different drugs than a heavyweight for mass body.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it at all. If someone gets caught with drugs and beats an opponent, what happens if he kills that opponent? Does he get done for murder? Because he's premeditating drugs. He's premeditating it. I can't stand it. It's bad in the game. It's bad in any game. I know it's bigger in other sports. It is a problem in boxing. It's been highlighted.
And testing wise, is there any amateur level?
International.
Yeah, there is.
International.
Right.
Yes. There's random urine samples, urine tests, blood tests. Professionals have become a
So
little
would that
bit
be
more
random at competition or out of competition?
in and out. If you're boxing internationally, you could come to.
They knock on your door.
What the pros do, especially when it's a championship fight, they'll just knock on your door.
Right.
You've got to show them. You have a card, your training card.
Right.
For example, if you're boxing for a title fight, and it'll be a 6 week or 8 weeks camp. So your card will start Monday to Friday. There's your camp. Where will you be on Wednesday? And they'll check your weight every 2 or 3 weeks, make sure your weight you haven't lost too much weight, and they'll just come in randomly and do a drug test.
Right.
2 or 3 maybe.
Right.
Boxing at 3 or 4 sometimes.
Right.
Before and after, especially after. If you're boxing in a national tournament for England or any national team, you'll most certainly get kept behind to get a drugs test.
Right.
Straight after it.
I've heard of boxers, I've heard of other athletes actually waiting 3 or 4 hours in the change rooms because they can't
go.
Yeah. For a drug sample.
Yeah.
They do it in Pune. There's a few in Pune, weren't there?
Right.
At junior level.
Right.
It should be more prevalent. It should happen, and the consequences should be more severe.
Yeah. Right.
100%.
And is that just? I presume it's better than it was in regard to cracking down, but they're just not strong enough. I assume.
I just think it's the game. We're hearing the bad side of it all the time. You see.
Who's we? Sorry, who do you mean by we? As in
the boxing, sorry.
Yeah,
the boxing game. You hear of a few incidents, and then the WBC or the WBA will give them a 6-month ban.
Right.
But they'll go and box somewhere else.
Okay.
Or they won't box every 6 months anyway.
Right.
So by the time the training camp's over, they're ready to box again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's not strong enough.
Right.
Not strong
Yeah,
enough.
no, you need to send a message out. I don't hear that, again, I follow a bit of boxing, but not a lot. You don't hear a lot of drug stories.
No, there's not
which,
really.
Your natural instinct is it's clean, but maybe they're just not testing enough, I don't know. Again, I come from a cycling background where it's obviously been hammered for 15 years and they're tested, hundreds of times during the year.
And then you've got the Russians with state-sponsored drug.
Yeah, have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, in Icarus. Icarus, sorry. What did I call it?
Icarus.
All right,
Yeah,
I don't know. I
Icarus,
think I
isn't
was
it?
drunk. Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, unbelievable.
No, it's a no-no for me.
So your future then, Danny, what's the plans? Appreciate you probably not in it, still, well, not over here in lockdown, but generally, when's the next fight, or when do you want a next fight?
I'm just currently doing, because we've just got our new gym, so I'm currently just doing my gym instructor and personal training course at the minute.
Okay.
Just to run the new gym downstairs. Once they're done, then I'll probably get my head down again.
Right.
Because hopefully I'm in the gym full time now, so I'm not working, I'm not going to building sites, so I can actually train more. So it's not like, hopefully it won't be a struggle. So.
Right, so then it's just finding opponents. I mean, how do you go about that? You decide lockdown finishes in 6 weeks
It's
and you go...
promoters, he manages.
Right. And who's that for you?
Steve Wood, VIP Promotions.
Right, okay. And not knowing then, is that a local thing, a UK thing?
Yeah,
UK,
Manchester based.
Right, okay.
Northwest, yeah.
Right. So you'll just say, I'm looking to fight in X period, 6 months.
You've got to make yourself available first.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Once you make yourself available, then your coaches, whoever you deal with, they'll inform the management committee and they'll say, right, we've got 6 or 7 shows this year. Let's try and get them on this one, that one,
right.
This one. Or what's going to happen now is going to be very difficult because he's got 126 professional boxers signed up. Bit too much for me for a promotion company. Because you take the emphasis off the individual then, you're just one of 126 and once you look after him and you're over here and you've got 120 in Manchester in your area who sell more tickets.
Right.
But then you make yourself available, tell the coaches he's back on the scene, medicals and all that, once that's all done, and then they'll just say, right, well, we've got something coming up soon in Liverpool, or let's get him on the card there. That's how it works. Then they'll say, right, there's your 400 tickets, go and sell them.
Right.
Don't bring any back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sort of like,
And I assume if you have 200 left, what's the story there?
It just comes out your bones.
Oh, right.
You give it back.
And do you win, if you don't mind me asking, do you win more for winning than not winning?
No, it's a set fee.
No,
right.
Set fee, yeah.
Right, okay.
More tickets you sell, the more money.
Oh, right, okay.
10%,
So it's like cut the purse
10%
almost.
of your ticket sales, you get the 10%.
Oh, you have an allocated amount. You'll say 80 tickets. So your average will be 80 tickets. Anything over the 80, you get a 10% bonus.
Oh, right, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
Cutthroat business.
So that's what I mean.
Right.
You're trying to push for tickets as well as training.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about selling tickets,
Yeah.
We've never really had a problem with tickets, have we?
No, we've done well with tickets over there.
I was going to say, because I take it the tickets you sell are for fights here then, or when you go across, because that's what I was going to say. I guess it's harder for you as well, especially since you're not from.
Yeah. No, we've done alright. The first one was like 220, I think.
Right.
Done well, really well. He was the biggest crowd in there.
Right.
More than the local lads. So
right, okay.
It was good. So
good weekend as well. It was good. It's good. It's good if it's not every week because it's a bit of a day out for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking now. Yeah, take a few of the. You just go away with some of the boys.
And if you've got 6 weeks' notice,
right.
you say, right, you buy the ticket, it takes 40 quid. Book your boat, book your flight, or your boat, your hotel, and then the big weekend of it. And then it becomes a good weekend. It's if you get a little bit too more regular, you can't ask the same person
to go.
It's not the ticket itself is not the problem. It's the accommodation and the travel, getting the
flights and that.
Okay. Interesting. Well, thanks for coming in. Appreciate
no
it. It's been really interesting and a bit of school and in boxing as well, which is always good. Keep up obviously the good work with England and obviously helping people locally. I'm sure people want to get into boxing. It's get in touch with you guys at the club and get involved. I assume that's the way.
Come down, we've got a website. Well, just go on our Facebook page, Manx Amateur Boxing Club website. Oh, we've got another one now, haven't we?
We've currently just got a new gym, the Alman Boxing Fitness Academy.
Okay.
It's down Hills Meadow.
Okay. We'll add some links into the footer.
Yeah.
Right. And what age can parents fire out their kids to?
8.
Okay.
8 upwards, and we're going to do it, but not just yet till this is cleared out, this coronavirus thing's cleared and everyone's on complete unlockdown. We're going to start doing under 8,
Right, okay.
Introduction for under 8.
Okay.
The thing about amateur boxers, you can't box competitively till you're 10 anyway.
Right.
So kids having a very short attention span, we don't want them in the gym at 5 years old, wait until they're 10 to box because they just lose interest
Yeah.
So we say 8, a couple of years, then they're
and obviously to parents out there and stuff, it's obviously a very safe environment that you're working in.
It's safe. We encourage parents to come and have a look, ask any questions they want to ask. We can give them a full write down of what they're going. And I don't encourage. We don't have parents in the gym. This is an ABA directive because they've had troubles across with
parents
come
scrapping.
in the gym and just trying to take over there. It's not fair. And it's not fair on the individual. Because they want to impress and they'll... But we've got a big screen downstairs, big monitor. They can see what's going on upstairs.
Oh, right, okay.
Everything's there. They have a cup of tea and watch what's going on upstairs.
Yeah, okay, all right.
It's all good.
And at that kind of age, you just teaching them bits of techniques and
it's
kind of the basic stuff.
Learn to learn, I say, and learn to play.
Right, okay.
First stage of long-term athletic development.
Right, okay. Well, again, it's discipline for kids, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And they you know, and we've had a lot down there. And go on about it and said this kid's had trouble at school and this kid's had trouble at school. We've never had any issues down there.
Yeah, right.
They know they're in a safe environment and it's a disciplined environment. Well, they won't get away with messing about. We're not school teachers. We're all volunteers. But we expect a little bit of discipline off them.
Yeah,
and they
respect.
do, they go with it. And some kids' turnaround's been fantastic. I've had letters from parents saying, "Oh, thanks very much. My lad never boxed, or my girl's never boxed, but she's loved being down there. She's been down there 2 or 3 years, and she's a different person, or he's a different person." And that's more rewarding itself than getting.
I'm sure it is
in the ring. It's brilliant.
So just on the girls' side of it again, there's a lot more you see women's boxing on, but very much encouraging locally as well.
Yeah, I was involved with the female boxing in the region before I went onto the male side of it about 4 years ago, and the transformation from what it used to be like to what it's like now is absolutely fantastic. We've got some good girls down there.
You had a regional champ, I read somewhere, didn't you?
Jade Burden.
Right.
But we've got some young girl. Jade's doing really well. She's actually still in the ABAs, although they've been stopped. We've got waiting for the restart area, so she's in the quarterfinals, national quarterfinals.
Right. Okay. Good.
So waiting to
that's good.
Hopefully, be our first female champion.
Good. Like I say, keep up the good work there, and good luck onwards with the career and stuff.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Pleasure. Do you want to check us out, mate?
Yep. So wherever you're listening to, please like, share, subscribe, and leave those 5-star reviews. Pretty please. Social media, Facebook, we're the M Word Podcast, Twitter, Mag Sports Pod, and on Instagram, the M Word IOM.
Thanks, sexy people, for letting us get in your ears. It's word out from Mom.
And word out from Matt.